welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup Paris group stage. We've been having ourselves a fantastic time out here, and the good times will just keep on rolling on. So with that, why don't we go ahead and see what the full slate is going to be for today. Now, we already saw Germany and France go the distance to start off the day in a match that France barely was able to inch out. And the Team Netherlands just rolled their way to victory over Team Italy 3-1. Later on, we'll see Italy again, this time taking their shot at the homeland boys of Team France. And we're ending the day with a showdown between Team Netherlands and Team United Kingdom. But coming up next, we have Team Poland taking the stage for the first time today against Team Germany. Now, to my right is Team Poland. You had a bit of a rough day yesterday. A very, very close matchup against Team Italy that they weren't able to pull off victory on. So they're going to be looking to gain their footing today in their only match that they're going to be playing. And to my left is Team Germany. Now, Team Germany also had a rough day yesterday, but earlier today they were able to take Team France the distance, all 5 maps. And that's a tall order when you consider the fact that many people consider Team France to be the #1 team in this group stage. So, with that said, it looks like the players are ready. I think they want to get this thing going. How about everybody in here? You guys having a good time? You ready to go? All right. Me too. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the action and send things on over to our casters.
Thank you very much, Malik. We're going to be going into this match very shortly. And Des, I'm really excited after what we saw from Germany earlier today against the French roster. It seems like a completely different team has turned up based on what we saw yesterday.
It's exactly as they said themselves, Trid. They've gone away and spent some time yesterday going through some VODs, looking at what went wrong yesterday. So they come in today ready, prepared, and aware of what mistakes they were making yesterday. Take a look at Team Poland to kick things off, though, to see exactly who it is they're rolling out with here. Got Malwo coming out, got Tiano, got Dooku, Dexter, Shadow, and, of course, the man himself, Darnier, the guy that was on a lot of people's lips yesterday. And
he gave him good reason to be on the lips. He played so many different heroes, not having necessarily panic picks to stall for time. We saw him playing Wrecking Ball at times in a non-panic fashion. He's really trying to flex his muscles and show what he can do.
And that's all he's done so far. He definitely showed just how proficient he is and how prolific he is on a wide selection of heroes, and looking for more big things from him today.
And of course, we have the German roster: Cranks, Progi, Nesh, Mete, Kodak, and Immortal. Progi and Kodak had an absolutely phenomenal series against France. That final Route 66 match was incredible.
I wouldn't even put it down just to those guys. I think the whole roster really showed up there as well, and I was looking more than anything at that tank line, or kind of, should we say, situational tank line in the form of Nesh and Mete alongside Progi as well. Nesh, I think, probably had one of the best games I've ever seen from him, even throughout contenders when it came to Route 66. So I'm hoping he can continue that success here in this series against Poland.
Let's have a look at the map schedule for today's series. Of course, it's going to start off, as it always does, on a pre-selected control map. We're going to Nepal to kick things off.
More specifically, starting things off in Sanctum as well. So may finally get some Pharah play in the mix here. Finally, we've seen teams employ things in EU at the very least, things like triple DPS, or like I say, the Pharah. Soldier, also a very, very popular pick. We did see some of the guys play this yesterday, Mete or Nesh, in particular. Looks like they might roll out with that now.
Interesting to see what they pick out on here. And you've got to remember the stakes of this match. For Team Germany, unfortunately, they've hit that threshold of points where they're unable to qualify for that BlizzCon spot. However, you don't want to be a team that goes 0-4, 0-5, whatever. You want to pick up some wins. Poland, they actually are in a position where they can still qualify for BlizzCon, but it's a very tall order to do so, considering their record to do so. So they have to get a 3-2 record minimum. That's what we've established so far at World Cup stages, if they're lucky. Germany, bit of a leg up from what they've played so far in the form of Italy.
Got to beat these guys, then make their way over the Netherlands and France tomorrow. Don't really favor those odds, to be honest with you, if they were in my books, but who knows? We've seen crazier things happen throughout the history of Overwatch. We're rolling out of the gate, no surprise here. No 3-3 to be seen on Sanctum, thanks to all the environmental kill potential that you can see.
Look at Germany's roster, though. They've got triple DPS out the bat with an Ana Lucio combo, and Progi, of course, going to be on that Winston. So interesting to see what they do with a heavier damage-favored composition coming out from the Germans.
Nesh going off on the flank as well. This is something, again, we've seen in the EU a few times. An instant sleep down onto Nesh means the dive follows through not long after. It's going all Germany's way.
They've absolutely demolished them, diving onto the back line, leaving Matwo out there by himself to recall. That's going to be Germany picking up the first point on a very clean team fight.
Just really the anticipation there. The readiness was from there from Germany, ready to go for that dive as soon as they saw the opportunity. Poland, a little bit slow to respond. Yes, they got the sleep onto Nesh, but realistically, when you've got 4 or 5 other targets all jumping into your backline, you're going to struggle to deal with that damage coming out of 3 DPS heroes.
Cranks and Kodak are very in sync with their ult charge relatively. They could be hitting a Nano Blade combo very quickly. Matway going to find both supports on the backline by himself on the Sombra as Shadow dives onto the point to help Poland get back control of this point. Cranks getting a kill onto Dooku. Might not be enough to stem the flow. Matway going low with that recall. It looks like Poland's going to get a flip here relatively early on.
And this is the problem with playing a triple DPS composition, is you're relying so much on your own damage and initiations to win fights that if the enemy team engages with more than just 2 members, for example, you're stuck with realistically a Winston and maybe the 2 supports themselves trying to keep them alive. If they have enough damage to shut you down with that dive, there is no way you are going to be able to hold a position that doesn't see at least 1 support going down. In that case, it was both of them, and that was Dreamland for Poland. So Germany, if they're going to stick to this comp, they've got to take the initiative, and here it comes to the blade.
Oh, immediate sleep from Dooku. He's doing that multiple times this match, and we're just going to watch Cranks take a nap, get back up. No more blades, still has the nano boost. Danye, on the other hand, without those tools, able to get the same amount of work done as he finds 2 kills. Zeno going to take out Nesh as a self-destruct on the point, will keep Germany away. They're sent back to their spawn room.
They've got a couple of ultimates online to play with here, namely looking towards that visor coming out of Meta. On the other side, though, 4 ultimates online for Poland. They're in a great position here to chain a couple of fight wins. Dexter taking a nap and instantly woken up there. Duke on the far corner with that nano boost onto get Danye.
Time for Danye's time. He's got a sound barrier on top of it as well. He's cutting through Immortal and Nesh as he's jumping into Poland. Shadow's going to find that final kill for them. But Poland starting to get into the danger zone of taking this map away from Germany very early on.
They did just burn 4 ultimates to achieve that outcome, though not the most desirable situation given the circumstances. Now Germany are on even keel when it comes to ultimates, if not even slightly ahead, given that most of their members are over that 50% mark.
Nice EMP, locks everyone down, immediate response. Shadow diving straight onto Kodak, takes him out of the fight immediately. And they're just going to hold this position. Germany, no, they can't push forward in a 5v6 scenario, buying more time for Poland to hit that dangerous 90% threshold.
It wasn't just the 5v6 as well, it's the fact that they burnt the hack and Germany immediately got themselves out of there. Audi 5000, back to safety land. Now they can push back in with that visor. They're at 90% though, so expect many to deploy that ultimate any second now, but it's just been had by Matway from the side.
Mete shuts down, he has got tactical visor, but he's unable to pull it off. Sound barrier coming out afterwards for Germany. Nesh and Zeno already trading kills. Here's Cranks with the Dragon Blade, can find one, not the second, as Matway will shut him down, nearly giving away the point to Nesh, who was on the point solo. The rest of Germany looking for the cleanup. They've got ults at their disposal, but they want to hold on to them. They're not going to need to burn them as they get the flip at 30%.
They managed to get it. Matway was kind of left reeling there a bit as well. He was trying to find an angle to get a hack down, but instead was left looking and trying to find the ideal target. But all he came across was an Ana, which can be a very dangerous target to take on by yourself if she's aware you're there. And he also had a Winston, who's got a huge health pool, so realistically, neither target the most ideal one to go for, so he's just going to lurk and wait now. Nowhere near that EMP just yet, but he's feeding his team valuable information.
If they can keep Meta safe, they can bride him with the Nano Boost to make a Nano Visor combo. Dexter's going to open things up with Cranks. He's popped the Tactical Visor with the Nano Boost. He's been knocked off the map by Zeno! Ultimate value there, 2 for 1. It's not going to save the rest of Poland as they will go for a reset as Immortal picking up the tag on the way down.
May have well got that tag out, but Immortal with a bit of a save towards the end there, making sure that point was still in their favor. Matway still hasn't really made much happen in the last 2 minutes or so. He's been looking for the angle, but his team are just failing to find these engages again, Trid. It's all about initiative when you're playing with this triple DPS composition, and Germany have definitely fallen into the stride we saw them find in the French series earlier on today.
Danye doing his best Prince of Persia impression, but he's going to jump in with that blade and the Nano Boost to boot. The rest of the supports have scattered. He's found Immortal. Not much he can do after he's blown his sound wave. Neither can Danye after committing to someone so deep in the backline away from the team. Cranks and Progi have already found the backline of Poland, and the rest of Germany are very much in control as we're hitting 5% to victory. I don't think Poland are going to be able to take this one. Sanctum is surely going over for Team Germany.
Absolutely is, and really, Poland struggled to find their stride there, I feel. Germany, after that second fight where they lost it and gave the point away, they would realize themselves, and as we said, you know, this is a very initiation-based composition. You need to be the ones taking the initiative, going aggressive. And no doubt coming into this, Germany have said to themselves, well, realistically, we feel we're more together as a unit than maybe Poland are, and we can capitalize on that. It slipped for a moment, but outside of that, that was an entirely Germany round.
Very close to losing it, though. Poland getting into the 90%. Well, 99% in fact. It's very dangerous for Germany to be dropping maps like that when they're expected to be the higher seed team coming into this matchup and really want to provides them more confidence in their level of play. If they're struggling to take maps off of someone who's currently expected to be 5th or 6th in this tournament, really going to shake things up for what the expectations and the optics of this team.
Heading on to Shrine now. No real environmental kills available unless you're hanging out by the south side of the map, but in that case you're doing completely the wrong thing anyway. So going to be a GOATS rollout for both teams here to kick this one off.
It's going to be interesting to see if there's any variations coming out after the initial clash, forcing them to back away. Germany has the positional advantage on the point. It's Poland who have to encroach onto them. Rogue and Logan going to help back up again. Points starting to be captured by Team Germany. Poland have to go now. They don't want to get the first cap. They're going to do just that. It's Progi about to hit that Earth Shatter. Maybe one more swing or a Flame Strike. He's going to give it to him. 99%. He can push forward and seal the deal and make sure his team's going to win. Going to throw it straight into the back line of Poland. A nano boost on the Shadow to keep him alive. But it's not going to save the rest of his team. They're not going to push forward. That extra damage gave him cracks. Graviton Surge for Nesh. They need to use it. But they're pushing back onto the point. They're starting to take numbers back. The Graviton Surge being put out. There's the self-destruct. Trying to block the shield. Progi with 2 kills onto Danye in Shadow. A D-Mech coming out from Mete, and the rest of Germany pulls it back from the brink and hit that 30% mark.
Even in that 5v5 situation, Germany's win condition still didn't change. They got their ultimates up incredibly quickly there. Both sides did admittedly, to be honest, but Poland, they didn't really hit that critical mass they were looking for with things like the Graviton Surge and the self-destruct. Germany, meanwhile, had that online, and you saw the end result there. It didn't even need to be used in the end, though, because it was Progi netting that double kill to win the fight for his team.
Double support ultimate for Germany. Going to throw out that sleep dart. Did connect, I believe, and sent someone napping. Dexter taking a quick little nap on the stairs. Red throws fire grenade. Shadow being dropped. Don't know how effective that was. Don't think anyone got past Shadow's shield. It's already a couple of ults being used and committed. Graviton Surge being eaten. No ult seems to be being used in this fight whatsoever until the Sound Barrier and the Self-Destruct come out. No one found by it. The shield's going to be diminishing very quickly for Team Germany as they got a Graviton Surge ready for Nesh to put onto the back line. This time, it's managed to land successfully, pulling Poland together, but there's no damage. Even Mete gets dematched from this as a Flame Strike from Progi will take out Danye, and Poland struggling to get a foothold, but they are getting kills. They might be able to flip this around, but I'm not sure if they've got enough in the tank to do so.
Shadow just isn't going down quickly enough. There's a bit of miscommunication or lack of coordination from Germany, really. They're getting the stun onto the shield, but they're not following up the damage to bring him down. There comes the Graviton Surge, this time catching out the majority of Germany.
This has surely got to be Poland's fight. That charge from Shadow taking out Immortal is going to deny so much mobility and healing, and the rest of the components are going to fall to the wayside. Poland get the flip at 99%.
Like I say, a few small mistakes made by Germany there, like the mistiming of the Brigitte stun with ultimates, or things like the stun coming through, but then no real follow-up damage being there to initiate onto Shadow. Poland played incredibly well around that center pillar as well, using the environment to give them additional cover. And yes, they got grabbed from the side, but there just wasn't enough follow-up damage from Germany once again. Got to put their ideas up again and show us why they're the team that took France all the way through to 5 maps earlier on.
Nano boost self-destruct for Germany on this retake for Poland, sitting pretty. They got a rally, they got the Earth Shadow, they got the bomb, and of course, that nano boost of their own. Let's see what Shadow does. Who's going to win out this war of the Reinhardts? He's going to throw it down straight away. Manages to catch out Progi, but not many more members of Team Germany as they push forward and push him further away. Nano the committal to the fight that Poland want to take. Sound Barrier to stem the flow of their aggression, keeping them outside of that room they've cornered for themselves. Pushing back onto the point, asleep on the Progi. He's got his own Earth Shatter to use against Shadow. He's been pinned against the wall. The healing might be there. Self-destruct onto the back line. Poland the corner, grabs on surge for Mete to get a triple kill. Germany are going to flip this point back.
Great hold to begin with, but as you saw towards the end, all it takes is one cheeky self-destruct to slip through, and suddenly the whole team is decimated. Germany back in control, 99% ticking now. There's no way they make this point back. Germany taking the first map 2-0.
Taking the series exactly how they need to. Managed to make a little bit more of a dominant showing than they did on Sanctum, which is always good, showing some kind of progress on the map type. Radio Boy going to go have a quick chat with his team as we get ready for that second map. It's looking good for Team Germany. Definitely different from what we saw yesterday.
It is. A couple of mistakes still eking back in there that we saw at the start of their series against France. Let's not forget, in the first half, Germany were down 2-0 and then pulled it back with maps 3 and 4. Luckily here, walking away 2-0 on that first map, I think it's more a case of Poland here not really having the coordination, again, that togetherness that you're hoping to see from teams here at the World Cup. Maybe a few little tweaks of both sides to iron out when it comes into half-time.
Well, great ultimate usage by both teams as well. I think that we saw barely any whiffed Earth Shadows, especially from Progi and, of course, Shadow, who we've had some question marks about previously. But he's been able to pull out a relatively good performance today. Hopefully he can maintain it despite being one map down against the German side.
Yeah, Shadow yesterday, a few whiffed ults, a few nano boosts when a miss, you might say, as he managed to miss a few leaps on Winston, for example. But today, things are looking better, at least from what we've seen at the start of that map there, where he is standing up against Progi, who, from what the games we've seen today, yes, we've only seen 3, but I'd say he's looking like one of the stronger main tanks playing on the field today.
Absolutely, you can't take anything away from him, but he just needs to make sure he can get a win under his belt, because it doesn't matter how good you look, if your team wins no matches at the World Cup, it's not going to look great for you. Let's have a look at that second map to get this series on the road again. We're going over to Numbani, which we're seeing a lot of here at Europe in comparison to the other group stages.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are thinking, well, we're seeing a lot of GOATs. Let's try and play them out where we're not going to see so much GOATs. And in the series earlier on today between Germany and France, there was a lot of Genji and Sombra play coming out alongside the dive tanks, showing that teams are more than happy to not play GOATs. And in fact, for some of them, might come as a bit of a breath of fresh air.
If you're tuning in for the first time, you don't know what GOATs is, that's the triple support, triple tank combination. We call it GOATs. It's named after a team that kind of pushed it into the mainstream, shall we say, over in NA Trials, NA Open Division, one of the NA leagues.
I think it was Open Division they played through and just rolled everyone with it, yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, to be honest, NA is like European Open Division anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
We love a bit of NA versus EU Flame.
Yeah, it's very easy to do as well when they just give us so much ammunition. Moving on to the map itself, Poland versus Germany. Like we said, we're expecting to see teams to vary from what we're seeing from the triple support, triple tank composition. Maybe a few more damage dealers as we saw earlier. Poland on the defense first. And I want to see Matwo stay on this Torbjorn.
Well, we saw a few times in EU contenders, teams will roll out with just a single Mercy as the support on the first point, because you're relying a lot on the utility of that Torbjorn. Just making a thorn in that side with this turret almost means that it's very difficult to get on top of the Mercy. Mercy plays on the high ground of the bridge to your left. As soon as someone tries to engage on her, she drops back down into the alleyway. She's relatively safe, so it requires quite a lot of coordination from the other side to make the dives work and to bring down the only support. I say that, there's actually 2 supports on the board. I completely ignored who's playing on the deck. So this is actually a variation of what we've seen in European contenders. Quite interested to see how this one works out. The single DPS, they may lack some damage. My only issue is that turret goes down, they'll be in a bit of hot water, but they do have the shield coming out of the Winston, they do have the D.Va to keep it alive. Hopefully does enough to keep Germany under keel.
Nesh and Crank's going on to the diving DPS of Sombra and Genji again, so hopefully they have the vertical mobility to get onto that turret and also get onto that safe position already. Meta's up there with them, leaving the supports on the backline. Progi's buying his time before he commits with his leap. He does obviously have a longer cooldown to deal with it, so you need to pick a target very carefully with this one.
Progi just taking his time here as well. Don't want to commit to anything and find yourself in a bit of hot water. Mercy being slapped, sitting out nowhere by Kodak.
They're sleeping on the job. It opens up a window for Immortal, Mete, and Progi to get on that high ground and send them packing. They have control of the point and positional advantage. Poland not looking like a good start for them.
Nah, Danye being down as well super early on means that you lose a lot of that pressure, and instantly he switches over to the McCree. Don't expect Matwo to stay here on top of this Torbjorn, probably going to change over himself to something else to facilitate Danye, in this case, the Brigitte.
Swedish Gambit didn't pay off, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see any more of that. And maybe it explains a lot why we don't see Torbjorn played that often.
Keep an eye on Nesho as well, he's trying to find a hack. In fact, he's going to hack Dexter out here at the back, who completely ignored him and continued firing forwards there. He's just not bothered about being hacked out right now, because he knows that the whole team around him, Nesh can't do anything without that EMP.
Frank's going very low, will be healed up 90% until he gets that Dragon Blade. Kodak not too far off his nano boost, could be a big white potential here for Germany, until Danye actually shuts down Progi, causing a little bit of hesitation from the German side.
Just a little bit of hesitation, but they know they've got time. There's 5 minutes in this time bank to work with to get towards this second point. They don't need to just rush in here and try and close this one out super quick. They feel comfortable just taking their time, finding the picks they need, or in this case, the hacks they need on Shadow.
Immediately pulls out the Deadeye, want to get in the face, holding up the deflect. Danye knows he can't do it, he times it perfectly to get Cranks and Progi throughout it all. And they're going to push Germany back yet again in the second phase of this map.
This is exactly why you don't want to rush things forward, because they went with the rush and got punished immediately by basically charging as a Genji into the face of a McCree without the deflect online. You're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, just gonna have a quick pause. I imagine it might be for a technical issue, but what timing by Danye. I thought when Cranks was there with the Nano Blade ready in front of him, holding the deflect, starts wishing it around a little bit, we're gonna see a reverse kill onto Danye, but he had that patience, he had that calm, controlled manner. Just wait through it, get the shot off, and find himself 2 kills.
Obviously felt in that situation that even if he did come out of the deflect, he'd still be able to hold on to it and get that kill. Like you say, Matter of patience, probably a matter of experience as well. I imagine this is something where he's had a lot of Genjis flying towards him when he's playing something like the McCree when he's played in previous years.
So if we just take stock of where we are on the map, obviously Germany have just captured point A, just around the first corner of the second phase of the map, so still a bit of a distance to go. We typically see a lot of momentum plays happen in that second phase of Numbani. That's being completely killed by Poland. It's going to take a couple of fights for Germany to get back into it, or we could see the end of their road on Numbani so far for Team Germany.
You could see the winning play there was going for the Genji ult to try and get on top of them in the backline and just clear out some of the supports, but the Valkyrie got popped immediately up into the skybox away from the Genji. The Zen backed off far back past the second point, so trying to go there without a dash would have been suicide anyway. That left Darnier as the only target to go on. So a bit of good coordination and communication coming out of Poland there, because they were expecting this to come out of Germany and thought, when that blade comes online, here's what everyone's got to do. We hold the front line, we push back as and how we need to. I think the added bonus of pricking up Progi with the Deadeye was more than enough for them, and they were like, great, 2 for 1. We'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, and I think point A was actually opened up a lot by that sleep onto Immortal. We did clock it coming in from Kodak. Don't know how he threaded the needle that well to get the kill or sleep onto the Mercy, but it opened up that window for the rest of Team Germany to commit to it. And there was not really a defense on point A. And you can laugh and go, ha, Torb, memes, you know. But
it's worked historically.
It's worked. We've seen it work in contenders in Europe, and now everyone's going to go, oh yeah, contenders Europe though. They managed to make it work in Europe.
I love how Matt just turned around and just saw her sleeping and was like, have an armor pack. It was almost like press F a few keys away, have it turn back around and keep on fighting this way again.
It's like flowers for a funeral.
Exactly.
Throw it on the casket and then just go, oh, well, that was sad, but I'll get on with my life.
He's like, I don't need you. I got the Zen right here, keeping me alive anyway. But you saw the dive come through from Germany. It was very, very coordinated. The fact they caught out the Tracer first just shows how committed they were to making sure key members went down. The turret fell straight after. The Zen died about a second later. So they actually pretty much ignored the Mercy, thinking, well, 50 health per second, we're not really bothered by that. We'll worry more about getting these key members who can really stop us from doing what we want to do here and just clear out the first point.
The Mercy mains are outraged that you're disregarding the importance of the HP per second. Yes, Mercy got nerfed to 50 HPS, but simultaneously, if you buff Ana, you're going to expect a kind of change of priority coming into the healers. And
it was a good stick from Kodak as well, because he was playing down in the streets and just sniping upwards around the corner. And you saw consistently the return fire coming his way, but he was like, I don't care, sleep, boom, back behind cover again, and he was safe. Yeah, Mercy was asleep, lack of healing, dive, win.
We've also seen that from Dooku as well. Look at the sleep. He shut down a Nano Blade very easily on Sanctum. And Dooku's been playing really well this series, actually. We obviously pay a lot of attention on the Polish team to Darnier. He is their star player. He is the one who pops off. Cranks had some good moments earlier today as well. But then, of course, we wanted... No, Cranks is on Germany. What am I talking about? Yeah.
Wrong team, mate.
Messed up there.
Nice
Cranks is really good anyway.
It's not like it's on another screen for you to see who's on the team anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to look at that screen, do I? I'm just saying. Dooku, very good. We often give Darnier a lot of praise, but there are members on his team who are showing up really well today here as well.
I think we're seeing quite a few actually really step up for Poland as well. And we came into it and said, well, Darnier's the only signed player who's the guy you want to watch out for. The others are all free agents. A few of them have stepped up, and we spoke about Red a few times, and you got to feel sorry for the guy. You're playing second fiddle to Darnier, who's, again, one of the most prolific players we're probably going to see in the group stage. We do have a quick replay, though, of that 2K coming out of the Deadeye, just in case you missed it. Not that it was hard to.
It's from his POV, so look at this. He's just holding it on. He's going, I'm fine. Bang. Times it perfectly as the deflect ends, and really shuts down the momentum of Germany's push.
That's all you need. Shutting down that one key member in the Genji you said earlier on would have been enough, but getting the Winston as well just takes a lot of pressure out of the front line, and where potentially there was a bit of contestation coming in between the two tank sets, but nope, with the Winston gone, you lose the shield, you lose his engage potential, end of fight.
Darnier's on 2 for 2 kills for Progi on Numbani. Shut him down after they cap point A, and then they also go for the Deadeye kill afterwards, gets him as a nice little bonus. We're going to jump back into the game, though, so less of our incoherent ramblings and more of our slightly more coherent ramblings as we go into game.
I hope they were slightly coherent, but we'll go with it.
Well, yours may have been coherent.
Maybe not so.
Yours may have been coherent, not mine.
I thought it was playing towards me then, but that was
No, I'm going to be very self-meditative today. I'm going to be looking inwards.
Reflecting Tridmo.
There isn't a reflecting Trid.
We can make one.
Someone could. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know where it would go, though. I don't have a Twitch stream. So.
We'll put it somewhere. Speaking of putting something somewhere, that payload's got to be put towards the second point. Oh, quick pause once again.
Speaking of putting something somewhere, someone put the pause button on again. So, here we are.
Someone put the pause button on. It happens. The key thing with this next fight, though, I just noticed a second ago, is that Nesh has now got that EMP online. And I've noticed so far that Poland have been pretty much exclusively ignoring him. Even when he hacks a member, they just turn and go, okay, there's a Sombra there, let's carry on looking that way and keep on killing people. Now he's got the EMP. They'll know this is around about the time this is online. If they've been tracking these ults correctly, they've got to make sure they're set up in anticipation from that, because if he drops down on the back line or even on the front line, they're going to melt incredibly quickly.
Well, Dooku's got the Transcendence, so if he can get that out, then he'll be fine, be able to heal the team through whatever. Their lack of mobility, lack of defensive abilities are going to be compensated just by the raw healing of the Transcendence. So
Absolutely.
he should be fine if he can avoid it, and I think what you said there is absolutely correct. As long as they've identified that Nesh has that EMP available for them, they should be able to work around it. But of course, Sombra, perma-stealth, you might not always be able to predict where she's coming from.
In a dream scenario with that EMP, you're catching out multiple members, but generally you're always going to go for the backline. We've seen it a lot over the last 2 days, where I actually saw Progi yesterday after the games and I said, I feel really sorry for you actually, because watching back Volskaya yesterday, 2 or 3 times you went to dive onto the enemy Zen as the EMP came out, but he was dead before you even landed, because once you get that EMP come through, those 150 shields disappear, there's 50 HP on Zen. It only takes a few shots coming out of the Sombra and he's pretty much gone. So whether it's the Ana or the Zen, as long as you get down one of those key supports, you're in dreamland, because with all that support cut out, what more can you do? No Discord Orb available for the enemy tanks, no extensive healing or anti-nade, or even the nade for your own team from the Ana, you're in a lot of trouble.
So what has Daniel been doing this game beyond going on to
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, yeah, we talked about the flashy plays. He's been able to get himself together. There's the crowd in France. Obviously, it's not their French team, but they're going to get themselves a little bit excited anyway. They still want to see some Overwatch. We don't get a lot of live experience Overwatch here in Europe. Get a lot of competition through tournaments on online and contenders, but it's great to see them in attendance.
You can't really see behind all the camera and the extra kind of layer almost, but there's a whole set of seats behind that, and then again behind that once more. It's just a beautiful folk in front of you who are lit up so you can see what's going on. Well, speaking of Danye, first point, played Tracer, died pretty much straight away and they got wiped. Second point, built up that Deadeye incredibly quickly, considering he'd only just swapped over to it, so he's getting a lot of chip damage down, brought it out, and we saw in the replay just a second ago how impactful that double kill was.
Who else have we got to talk about on this roster then? Matt,
so many.
He's gone on to the Brigitte. He had a little bit of Sombra play in the previous round. Pretty good. Good timing with his EMPs. Nice follow-up from Poland as well to capitalize on Team Germany. Now he's going on to a more supportive role in the form of Brigitte. I believe that actually Poland are running a 3-2-1 composition. Triple support, double tank, and the solo DPS. Danye, Brig, you can laugh about it all you want. Does deal a lot of damage as well. So you can kind of go, it's fine. Still kind of balanced, but not really.
For sure. And thinking about it, we spoke to a lot of the teams on the day before the World Cup stage began, and they were saying, some were saying 3-2-1's great, like we like running it. Some were saying, interestingly, one of the stronger teams was saying that 3-2-1, actually, we don't feel really comfortable playing it. We haven't quite figured it out yet, so it's not something we're going to tend to gravitate towards. For Poland, though, they're quite comfortable bringing it out here and showing what they can do with it. And you can understand why, when you've got the utility coming out of something like the McCree, the zone that he can create with the ultimate, or even the stun alongside the Brigitte, that's a lot of CC you can drop on anyone trying to get into your backline. So it serves the same role, almost a 3-3 in terms of keeping your backline safe with a very meaty front line. Just 3-3 has a lot of health to kind of protect the front line. The other one has the flashbang with the McCree, and of course the ultimate for the zoning where required.
Speaking of zoning ultimates, Mete is also about to get that self-destruct available for him, and Progi, of course, is about to hit Primal Raid, so both tank ultimates are going to be on the line for Team Germany in the next engagement relatively quickly. That could open up a lot of options for Team Germany, especially for Nesh to weave in behind teammates that have just been displaced by A, self-destruct, and B, a bunch of monkey fists flying at them.
Monkey fist, painful monkey fist
yes,
as well.
Very painful.
And this is one thing that me and you observed yesterday in their game when we saw them play, is that Progi is a very aggressive, offensive style tank player. He likes to get in the back line, he likes to put damage down and actually kill people rather than just creating space. As we alluded to, by killing people, you are technically creating space. Yep. But then we saw Korn playing on the other side of things, and he was more around, on the Netherlands this is, he was more around genuinely creating space by jumping in, bubbling things out, taking unfavorable fights in like a 1 versus 3 or a 1 versus 4. Progi ain't about that life. He wants to kill people and make sure they know that his name was there in the first place. So expect to see him go aggressive with this ultimate and try and bring down a few key members. We've just been indicated, by the way, we'll be back into game in 2 seconds, so more incoherent ramblings. They will stop soon, and we'll be back to full coherency in-game.
2, 1... We're back in the game.
Hey, we're in. And the crowd cheers, we cheer, everyone cheers.
We're cheering on the inside.
On the inside.
And anyone who's casted before is also cheering on the inside as well. They know how it feels when pauses are interrupting everything, but it's fine. We'd rather everything gets sorted, we can move in. Nesh looking for that EMP, and Germany have cleared a lot of space open here to just walk it in.
This is really smart. They're playing with all the supports on the high ground here, away from the Sombra, because if they get the EMP on top, well, they've all got to filter in through one angle. You can body block with these mobile tanks. You can jump up from this low ground onto the high ground to keep them safe. Just going to go with a normal hack for now, and Nesh being very, very patient with this EMP.
My ultimate is
Tanks are going a little bit low, but they are getting support from their backline, like you said, Des, so they're not giving up too much ground. and they're able to stall the payload from its motion. Danya again with that high noon. Jono is going to move him around. He's getting Progi as he's bumped everyone out of the cover as Dexter's going to hold on to that self-destruct. Pulse bomb thrown out to the side. Believe it was eaten by Dexter, so no bomb for Cranks to get any kills on. Beautiful play by Poland.
All coming from Shadow as well. Again, one of those guys who's been a bit 50-50 over the last couple of days. Once Danya deployed that ult down, he's already 55% back towards his ult, by the way. He brought it out immediately. Oh, no.
Matwo saved it with the EMP, came in just a second too late. Matwo with the Brigitte, keeping his sleeping teammate alive. And Danya flips it back around with a kill onto Nesh, punishing him for his transgressions. And he finds Kodak to give a little bit of flavor to the finale.
It's Reinhardt who usually says stand behind me, but could you ask for a better squad than the Brigitte in that situation? Matwo doing a great job being followed up by the trans immediately after as well to make sure there was no follow-up damage. Poland are holding this high ground incredibly well, and this is the problem I think with Germany is they've said, look, they're playing high. We can't contest this with the Sombra. Let's change over to the Soldier instead and use the range to our advantage.
Yeah, Soldier's not working out too hot. Dooku pops him after Danya gets that headshot there. Hiding again, they're all retreating behind cover. Oh. It's a zoning ultimate, ladies and gentlemen.
He's waiting for the damage, come on.
There you go, they've run out of time. He's just going to let him go. Didn't even pull the trigger. It's fine. Going to retreat back to their high ground position. Poland has such confidence in him. This was their map pick after all.
It was, and again, that high ground is playing so well. Germany looking a bit lost right now. They've got the dive potential of the tanks, but aside from that, no real DPS to work. They're still playing sort of DPS, but here comes the nano boost.
Progi jumping into the middle, gonna pop the primal rage with the nano boost still active. Danya's gonna get taken down. The extra damage made that fist hurt even harder. Brass knuckles on this ape as he swings him around. Matwo looking to go low, so they're going to be forced back. So they're going to get stunned up. Pierogi being forced back. Zeno going to bring Danya back into the fight. Keep him on that high ground again. Here's Pierogi once more being locked up, and he's got a sound barrier. As does the rest of the team to keep him alive. Mete comes in for the assist, tag teaming him, taking him out of the fight with no resurrection available for Mercy. Self-destruct on the point is a nice respite for Poland on their defense. Tactical visor, target-rich environment for Team Germany.
Nesh trying to roll it through on the back of this one. Brings down one, brings down two. He's making it work for his team. Finally, they have broken down Poland. They have managed to get through this defense, and they will push it towards the second.
You're going to get themselves 2 minutes 30, just shy of it on the clock for the final push. They've got a minute in the time back, roughly, as they're going to hit that check mark. Poland, not got many ultimates available for them, but they're mixing it up now. Shadow going onto the Reinhardt. They're going goats for the final point, Des.
When you haven't got that high ground to play around, it's understandable that you'd want to try and mix things up, and it's also going to force Germany to adapt, so they have to abandon 80% on Kodak's Ana there. They want to make sure they've got the Zen in the comp, and this is the beauty of goats. People will always meme and say it's not really a beautiful thing to play, but you can play with the Ana, the Moira, or the Zen. You can mix a couple of picks around there as well to change the tank front line. You're playing with the Zen here because you want to melt down those Reinhardts in the front line with the Discord ults.
It's like a skill tree in an RPG. You're choosing which skill to spec into by picking one of the three supports. Nesh moving forward, getting that high charge. 77 is going to decrease a little bit as they're pushing forward. There's no brakes on the German train as they're pushing forward into Poland's controlled area. Shadow eventually going to take down Progi with that hammer swing. Cranks answering the call by returning onto Shadow. Self-destruct over the top. The rest of Poland's going to retreat into the hallway, but it leaves the payload in motion for Team Germany.
Poland managed to get a bit of storm to go now. Germany going for the re-engage. Cranks in the front, managed to bring down Matwo with a fantastic flail off the back of that one. Whoever called Brigitte a support, she's definitely more of a DPS for this team.
That rocket flail was almost laser guided onto the skull of the Zarya. Going to be using that Graviton Surge, Transcendence to keep them together. Shadow being charged in by Progi. He's going to come back onto the payload. Mete with the Diva, taking out Shadow and Danya. Germany seem very much in control, but that self-destruct only finding one from Dexter. Gets the D-Mech onto Mete. So 2 out of 3 tanks been removed from Germany, and the respawn advantage might be good enough. Shatter from Progi, gonna knock down Dexter. No one else is in range for it because they've got no tanks on the field until Shadow gets in the face. There's too many members from Germany to deal with. They're gonna complete Numbani.
Cranks doing so much work on the Brigitte in that final fight as well. We've seen Brigitte's being nano boosted today because we know just how potent it can be, but he did it even without a nano boost in that final fight, picking up key members towards the end as well, getting those big stuns down. Sadly, not quite the same story for Poland though, because as we saw with that final self-destruct coming through, which could have saved the round for them, there was no stun to turn away from that Ryan shield, which meant ultimately most of the members were safe. They stood around for long enough and they managed to turn the fight back in their favor.
Now it's time for Germany to defend. 40 seconds in their time bank, and it needs to go around to an offense. So They're not hit that 1 minute check mark they need to just capture 33% at point A, assuming a overtime capture by Poland. So we will have another round of Numbani if Poland can capture by any means.
By any means, probably the key word there. They've got to really scrap and fight tooth and nail to get this one all the way. Germany, as we've already said a few times, have definitely come up a different team today. They had a good night's sleep last night after a lot of VOD reviews and preparation. They were ready for this. They were ready for France. Just sadly couldn't quite clinch out in the very, very final map. But at least after that performance, they'll be somewhat inspired and thinking, you know what, Poland, realistically, with how their results have gone compared to how France's have gone, this should be a series that we can take away, even if we can't qualify for BlizzCon.
Looking a little bit more meta for Team Germany. Going on that defensive dive, so they have Nesh and Genji. While they're holding that defensive ground, a lot of vertical mobility, just mobility in general, to get around this point, because it does offer almost a tiered arena that you need to be able to scale to match the response from your defenders.
It's a tough situation for Poland as well, thinking about it, because the likelihood is, even if they win this map, they're going to Anubis next.
Yep.
And we know Germany does not lose when it comes to Temple of Anubis. It's their home map. They seem the most comfortable on it of them all. But first, they've got to get through this defense. And as you mentioned rightly, yes?
You meant Volskaya Industries.
Volskaya. No, it's Anubis as well.
Volskaya, Germany is Volskaya's map.
I could have swore it was Anubis, but we'll go with it.
Argue semantics. The stream knows I'm right. I know I'm right. We'll sort it out later to make you understand. Let's move on to this offense, though. You see already Nesh is behind, scouting out. As expected, Matwo having an attempt of his own on the Sombra. So going to move deep behind the enemy line. Make sure he can find anything. Stragglers. Going to see Shadow going in. Hack onto Immortal. He's got the mobility. Can't jump to safety. Perfect pickoff for Matwo. The aggression from Progi, sorry, the aggression from Shadow, forcing this out as Downey gets a cut through. And Matwo going to find another kill onto Kodak. Very clever strategy from Poland there. Perfectly timed execution to boot.
This is the problem where this strategy of holding the high ground and falling back into alleyway when you're threatening can kind of be torn apart. You send a tank on top, push them back into alleyway. You've got to remember that a Sombra is a thing in this meta. She will be lurking and waiting, as you saw. Dooku just missing the sleep dart onto Nesh. But Poland seems to have put it back. They've got the payload moving.
Yeah. A Sombra by herself against 6 members isn't going to do much on that point, so it doesn't really matter they missed the sleep dart, but look at the aggression from Poland. They want to walk the payload in with little resistance. Shadow, very lucky to have that bubble shield to save his life. He's getting focused quite a bit as Germany come back out on a counter-attack.
Want to run away before they get picked up, but Kodak finds Yana. This actually could be Germany finding a fight back here. They even get the D-Mech in too.
So Matwo, he's snuck in there. He's behind Team Germany again. He needs to find a way to be useful. He's got an EMP available. He's going to pop that translocator down, hide it, make sure they can't find it, move into the back, pop that EMP, and allow Poland to press forward again.
Managing to hold them all the way back at the gate. So now just recomposing here and waiting until you've got 6, which they've now got, and then go for the push. But the EMP from Matwo is big.
Pulling the trigger. Shadow's immediately there to back him up. Cranks is going to go down first. Follows up with a hack onto Mete. A hack Diva is basically a walking bag of ult charge. Matwo going onto Progi, still letting Mete slip through the cracks. But with that many people dead for Germany, the payload's going to have a nice little bit of a free fair taxi run.
And they found Mete all on his own here. Why he hung around for so long, I'm not sure. They're going to chase him down and try and bring him down. That many health back. Just enough to deter the invaders here, push them all the way back.
A lot of ult charge available, as you can see across both teams. So, with a buffet at the disposal, what do they pick from the menu? What do they put on their plates and hopefully chow down on victory with? Nesh on the back line, he's going to go for a hack. Sound barrier, nano boost, and the Dragon Blade to the back line to cut through Immortal and get himself another kill onto Kodak. But Immortal manages to escape. He got hacked once, he didn't want to have it again. Daniel's going to deflect a few bullets, but they're back in the spawn room. That's an easy second point capture for Team Poland.
Poland are on the roll here as well, pushing their way through this map with some speed. 5.5 minutes left to complete. 5 minutes, maybe 4.5 if they want to match Germany's time bank here as well to give themselves an equal footing when it comes to next time round. Germany had the right idea though, that they held on for a while, didn't use the ultimates they've currently got banked up. They can use these to roll over a couple of fights if they want to, but given how Poland have been playing so far, that's not an easy feat.
Next in the back line with an EMP, there's a sound, oh, the self-destruct comes out. Beautiful combination from Team Germany. Gonna kill the momentum from Poland, but doesn't net them much with a 5-minute time bank still to play for.
It's the beauty in this meta in that you can use Zarya or Sombra in this situation where you either have the EMP to shut down all shields to stop members having much mobility to run away, or you get the Graviton Surge to force them all together and you charge the Rhine out of the way. That's what gives a lot of flexibility when it comes to comps like this, is they can play a 3-2-1 with Sombra if they want to. That just gives even more opportunities for the D.Va self-destruct to go to work though.
I think I'd prefer an EMP to a Graviton Surge at this point. A lot of options to defend yourself against it, but here comes an EMP for Poland. Followed up with a charge, Shadow moving in, Nato going very low, 40 HP. Self-destruct around the corner will find Kodak, who was trying to get away from all the gunfire. Sound barrier is available for Germany. They've already popped it. Going to keep himself sustained. Poland presses forward.
In good time again, 4 minutes left in the time bank now to get themselves through this next fight. One fight may be enough to determine this one. Of course, a lot of spawn advantage coming in for Germany, given that this payload is so close to their spawn area. They're going to mix things up themselves here and roll out with 3-3 with the Anna in the mix. The other side for Poland is exactly the same story, but they're keeping hold of the Sombra.
Home stretch for Team Poland, 3 minutes 50 on the clock. Nano boost available. The Dooku to put onto one of the team members, but definitely wants some kind of ultimate or something else to combo it with to get full value out of it rather than being used as a save.
Duku's got hold of that nano boost. Kodak still charging towards his, only stand at 50%. That could be their big win condition here if they can make it work. There comes the nano.
Gonna use it on the Shadow, immediately slept out by Kodak, so they're just gonna let him take a nap.
Graviton
Not
surge.
gonna disrupt it. Graviton Surge put him together. Huge biotic grenade to boost their healing, but Dexter will still find Nesh in the carnage. He's going to drop down a self-destruct. Everyone retreating behind Shadow's shields. They move to the side. Nice pin cancelled out with a stun. It's not going to be enough to connect and get the kill. Poland are moving back onto the payload. There's an Earth Shatter in the favor of Shadow as he pushes Mete away from the point. Home stretch, so close. Take out that Zarya, get rid of Immortal, and you can push it home. Team Poland, a sizable time bank moving into their next offense.
Really warming up into this one, even with a bit of a lackluster final fight, because as soon as you saw that Ryan get slept, they popped the grab in the expectation that he'd be there to swing away. Sadly, didn't quite come to fruition, and they still managed to get through all that healing coming out of the Anna on the other side. Smiles on the face of Dooku. He knows they've done some good work here.
It looked like he was doing a bit of the hacker then, like New Zealand, he's tapping his elbow, trying to get into the...
Get himself pumped up.
Get himself pumped, ready to take down Team Germany. And look at the time back difference there. It's 2 minutes 15 in favor of Team Poland. That, of course, means they're going to be going on defense first against Team Germany.
It's a very convincing performance from them on the second map, and we were speaking in the first round and saying, hey, maybe Germany is starting to warm up here a little bit, and that's why we've seen a few nerves kind of being shaken off as they were getting used to the stage once again. But actually, it's come up much stronger for Poland as we go into Numbani. These are the guys who are looking far more convincing with their play. Germany, buck your ideas up a little bit, come up with something new here to try and disrupt what Poland are now comfortable with. And in fact, speaking of Poland, they're even rolling out here pretty much immediately with the McCree on board, not going to try and employ the same thing as last time.
I mean, it did get rolled over very quickly, Des. I'd be very surprised if they decided to run
No
back to
Torp,
Warfield again.
no Torp, no Tracer.
Good. Keep it that way.
And Brick.
Hopefully, they can stall out for the 1 minute required. They may not be able to fully hold it against Germany, but if they can at least force them to an overtime push the rest of the payload, it does look very advantageous on their own offense.
Germany is going to crack their knuckles here and be like, ah, boys, speaking about overtime pushes, we've already had a huge one on Route 66 today. We were born and bred in those fires, so I hope you're ready.
We're molded in the overtime as Nesh is going to move around to the back line. Take that high ground position, very sneaky.
Ready for the dive.
Looking for someone, hacks out Dexter, no defense there. Darnier will take out Cranks as he dives in. So already Germany put on the back foot as Darnier's sitting in a bubble up in the sky, and he's able to pop down those shots and make those supports die. Mete, Kodak, they're looking to be shot up, but they get out of the target gallery fast enough. 20 seconds remaining for Team Germany.
No Snagger being found. Nice little sleep onto Dexter at the very end. This one means they might actually be able to capitalize on some damage, but nope, he's up and away straight away. You even saw the hack come in immediately from Nesh onto the Diva to try and block the defense matrix. Ultimately, it didn't matter because they still found those opening kills. Poland still having the high ground here. This is where they were strong in their second round last time round. Let's see if they can make it work now. Huge Deadeye coming out.
Not going to fall for it twice, tries to cut through, wasn't fast enough to get that trigger pulled at the right time. Shadow finding Progi, takes down the Winston just in time. And the Immortal's going to be popped off in the back line. Mete shutting down Shadow, nice flashbang into the one tap onto Nesh. There's a nano boosted Diva in your face. What are you going to do, Darnier? Pop him as he comes out of his shell. That's another kill for the Madman, and the self-destruct is just fireworks to celebrate. Team Poland ends Germany's offense on Numbani.
And now, with 3 minutes in the time bank, all they've got to do is crack that first point, and they've already done that very convincingly in under a minute last time round. Just got to roll out what they're comfortable with. Think about what Germany will be trying to do to adapt to this one, and we've seen a lot already, what they like rolling out with. It's all about that Genji and the Sombra. If they go for that again, I think Poland are going to have a read on them, and they'll know exactly what they need to do.
They knew exactly what they needed to do last time, Des. They had one play, one set strategy that Poland needed to execute on point A, and they did it perfectly first attempt. Has there been enough time for Germany to figure out how they don't allow that to happen again? Because if Poland go at it, the same strategy, and just wipe them, that it shows you that answer very clearly.
That's my biggest concern here, is that Germany have to think on their feet a bit and start to adapt. And this is always where you separate the good from the great in some ways. The teams will have to adapt on the fly and use their brains in-game. There's no coach that can help you when the series is underway. It's all about your in-game leader making the big calls. And by the looks of it, the call for now is hold this high ground once again. Nesh, back on that Sombra, going to looking to hack out a key member as they try and get in the back line. My eyes are going to be on Matwo in this first push here, because as we saw from Nesh last time, he got into the alleyway behind it, and as members fell down, especially the Mercy, he was there to receive her, bring her down, and melt down the Ana not too long after, and that was the end of the attack.
Matwo himself, he went down with the back line, was able to hack out that Mercy. She dropped down and kill him with the assistance of his Danye on that Genji. Already, we've just seen another sleeping Dexter. He's been knocked out by Kodak. He'll be back soon. They're just trying to spy check Matwo. He knows. He's just going to wait for the right time. And he sneaks through. They were probably hoping they would catch him, but they were assuming he went a different route. He's going to go behind, wait for the aggression. Now watch for the play. You're going to see Progi.
Feed me.
Shadow going up there, straight Immortal. It's the exact same play, but he's being healed up by Kodak this time as he also jumped. But it wasn't enough because you got 3 members dealing with you, and now they're just being fed to the walls. Team Poland pulled off their strategy yet again. Germany, they have not learnt a thing.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. But there is no shame for the Polish side here, showing Germany that they're here to dance, here to boogie, and they're going to pretty much capture this first point here and get themselves a map against Team Germany.
Against all expectations, Des, we have a series. Team Poland and Germany tied as we go into the half.
And it just goes to show that even when you can count a team down in that 5th and 6th level tier, potentially, they can surprise teams with plays like this. And that was a beautifully executed map. It was their map pick. Maybe they had some fixed strats here and were aware of what Germany were going to roll with. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. A victory is a victory. They go into the half 1-1.
But what's next, Des? We can only guess they're going to go to Volskaya because it's Germany's pick. They've had great success on it so far today, even against France, able to take it to them, and the UK. It was a map they took off 2 of the juggernauts of this group. If Poland can break the supposedly unbreakable Volskaya Germany, well, we could see ourselves with a little bit of an upset here.
I think even knowing that they're out of BlizzCon, they want to hold on to some pride here as well. Go home saying we refuse to lose Volskaya, and they've played it very convincingly so far. And in fact, when I was speaking to Progi again about his tank play, that was the one map that I referenced quite a lot and saying you were very aggressive on that map. Sometimes a bit too over-aggressive, but you still got results for your team, and that was the most important thing. So I'll be looking for the same thing after the half. No doubt going to be a bit of a pep talk for Germany as well from Coach Radio Boy to make sure they're in the situation where they can take it to Poland and take this map and go to 2-1 in the series.
Well, we're going to find out the answer to those questions. This is turning out to be a barn burner of a series. We're going to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 3.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omened by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup.
Whoa, bro. You are not driving. I'm driving, bro.
What?
Yeah. You know, I'm like the guy, and you're kind of like, what? The other guy, you know?
What do you mean?
Well, look, you know, you're my wingman, right? Yeah, you're like my navigator, my passenger.
Whoa.
No offense.
No, definitely offense taken. I'm in the driver's seat plenty.
Well, think of it this way, bro. Like, I'm kind of like the maverick, and you're kind of like the goose.
Oh, okay. I see how this is. I'm Batman. You're Robin.
Bro, you gotta be at least this tall to be Batman.
Yes, I am.
And secondly, I'm Sinatra. You are Sleepy.
No. You are sleepy, man.
Right, you are definitely sleepy, man.
You're sleepy.
You're sleepy. You got the sickest
You
sleep
are
dice, bro. You are
sleepy.
definitely sleepy, man.
I know it. You know what? You drive. It's fine.
What? Full disclosure, I haven't driven on the right before.
What?
Yeah, I technically don't have my US license yet.
What is wrong with you?
A lot of things!
Get ready to show the world who you really are in the Toyota CHR. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup Paris group stage. We've had a surprising result so far. We've got a tied series between Germany and Poland. We're about to jump into the second half, but Des, what have we been seeing so far?
Some impressive stuff out of Poland, needless to say. Quite a surprise, actually, that they take a map away from Germany. A lot of it being employed by that first point strat, as we mentioned. Two very impressive plays coming out of them. One being on the back of the first point, the hacks coming out of Matwo onto the Immortal as he fled on the Mercy was the key to them winning at that first point. The second point, all about them playing on the high ground. That was the big key one for me, because Germany, they spent a good 3-4 minutes trying to get them off that high ground. They switched to a soldier and still couldn't make it work. Eventually they got there, but that time wasted ultimately cost them the time back they would have needed to try and cap the first point again.
It definitely felt for Poland that Numbani was one that they were more comfortable on defense than they were on offense. That sizable time bank, the difference mainly was brought to them by the fact that they just stalled out Germany so long. That was a pretty, I'd say, average Numbani push if you had like equal teams. It's just the way it seemed to me.
Just Poland looked anything but average there as well, with very, very strong push coming into it. But one player we have got some stats to bring up for you for is Meta from Team Germany on the back of that game. There are a few others as well I think we need to have a look at it alongside this, but we'll talk about them more as the series goes on, no doubt.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look at Mete in a moment, but one person you want to talk about was Mete! Hey, there he is with the save.
Perfect timing as well. And I think for this guy as well, a lot of that came down to me with how he played alongside the front line. We spoke a lot about Proggy yesterday and quite a bit today, but I think in this game in particular, when Proggy was dying quite a few times too many, dare I say, we saw the Dead Eye with going a bit aggressive and getting called out in that one. Mete was doing a good job of keeping his team alive, except for on that first point, because he was continually getting hacked out, so that defense matrix was not available. But outside of that, I thought his play was pretty good in that last map.
I mean, that's the stats from 2 maps in this series so far. A lot of damage being blocked, like you said, Des. So, a lot to be dealt with here. Ultimate kill 6, not quite Poco levels.
Not
but
quite.
You know, he's starting to get there. I mean, it's hard to contest with him.
He's expanded that because of the course earlier on today when they were against Team France was definitely Mete versus Poco, and they were neck and neck for the most part. In this series, less so. It's more been about the rest of the team with the big Sombra players coming through, the hacks and things like that as well. And that's what brings us to 1-on-1. Now we head into the next map. I'll have to take a quick look at what that is in just a second as well, but I'll give you one guess at what map that's going to be, Tris.
It really makes me think, you know, Des. I'm not quite sure what map Team Germany who would pick. What's the one map they've been winning against kind of everyone when they play against?
It's got to be Hanamura.
It's got to be Hanamura. No, you said it was Temple of Anubis, didn't you?
No, I definitely said Volsky.
Nah, it's fine. We're going to have a look at those maps and see what we're going to be dealing with today. And wow, imagine my shock. It's Volskaya Industries, Des. Who would have seen that coming?
Who could have guessed? Although in this case, Germany, they've employed a few different strats. We've seen things like the Sombra Doomfist. We've seen the Genji Sombra quite a lot as well. This time round, it's looking like they're rolling out of the gates with that double sniper on side.
See how easily a sniper defense could be shut down on Volskaya. You just look at the UK match yesterday. Volskaya, KSP.
We don't speak now.
Got shut down a little bit. No, come on. We can't be entirely biased towards our boys. They did get shut down a little bit on that point A defense with the Widowmaker. So Nesh might be a bit of a risk for him to run it down if Poland have a set play to deal with that high ground advantage.
These are some of the question marks I had over a few teams yesterday, was not bringing Mercy to the first point and instead going with things like the Ana and the Zen, thanks to the sightlines, which I understand. I just think especially when it comes to on the assault maps, you need to make sure you got Mercy on that first point because those reses are just so important. And you look at things like the Overwatch League, we always see Widowmaker Mercy on the first point because whoever has the Widowmaker ultimately controls maps, as we saw Soon do yesterday when it came to Anubis. We'll be mentioning that for weeks to come because it was such a big round from him.
He's going to be riding that high all the way to BlizzCon, assuming he gets there.
I mean, it's looking pretty rosy for them so far.
Hopefully Poland might be able to join them, and that path to victory starts with a win over Team Germany, which ultimately is going to carry on Volskaya Industries. They're going to take the offense first. Double sniper defense coming out for Team Germany.
On the other side, well, pretty much standard coming through for these guys. In fact, they've already noticed this has changed over. Danye bringing out this Widowmaker, and we can all remember Season 1 of Contenders Street and what he did with this hero.
Danye versus Nesh is a matchup we don't get to see very often in Contenders. So the head-to-head Widow duels, if they were to take place on this map, would be interesting there. Nice little dink with no answer. They're going to send them straight onto the target. He's located with that bullet.
Proggy was down to less than 5 HP there, that close to going down. And already he's getting melted down by the damage coming out. Nesh finds Shadow, and it's all underway.
Nesh was doing what Danye couldn't, and that's take out the opposing Winston. Going to force out a res very early from Zeno, so won't have that available for the ensuing fight. Frank's trying to get high ground. Nesh again onto Matwo. This guy's taking names with his rifle. And Crank's unable to do anything other than just scout out some shots because his other sniper's doing everything else. Storm arrow into the back of Dexter. The healing's there to keep him alive. He's working towards that ultimate, but nothing substantial so far.
Yeah, most of Team Germany here sat back playing in the utility room just to keep them safe across from the rest of the team. Now the engage comes in for Proggy with the nano.
Nano boost onto the Prog man as Nesh is going to be taking out Danye again, and he follows up with Zeno. We're looking at Proggy, we should be looking at Nesh, because he's the one doing the work. It's a nice bait and switch from Team Germany.
Doing God's work here. Nesh, he's making it happen for this team. The number of picks he's getting off from on the high ground here, he's giving them the advantage in every single one of these fights. And Danye, he acknowledges this and goes, you know what, we aren't winning these duels. I can't find him. He's finding so many members of our team. Let's change over, go for the Genji, and just go for the dive. This should have been their response from the start, because if a team plays double snipers, you either put so many shields that they can't shoot through it, or you go for dive and just kill the backline as fast as you can.
Matwo's just been made redundant by the infra site, so on that Sombra, he's not going to be able to sneak anywhere. They're going to know exactly where he is. Got a Transcendence on the side of Poland if they want to go on the offense. They might have to wait out this infra site, though. Dragon Strike going to cut through what looked like the prime path for Poland to get through here. He's got a self-destruct and a Valkyrie in the pocket of Germany for when that assault happens.
Danye up the left-hand side, still not got the blade, almost got dropped down there as well by a shot.
Danye down on the ground, cut through small health. He's been hacked up, not going to be able to get anything done for Nesh. Here come the fist from Shadow, trying to go for environmentals. Nesh has found 3 kills while this is going on. There's nothing they can do to shut this guy down. He's been an absolute monster. And to be honest, Des, unless they're changing that Zenyatta, it seems like a little bit of a wasted ult.
And he's had a very kind of tough season on Hurricane, not really being given the chance to shine and show what he's made of on this Widowmaker. But here at the Paris group stage, my God, is he shining. Froggy as well, finding a double.
Like I said, he's got those brass knuckles on that primal fist. Des, he's just taking them to town.
Shadow slept.
Oh, Shadow.
Now I'm going to try and commit for it, though. Let's let him get away. Just say, enjoy your time outside the cage. You may go for a run. We'll be bringing you back, though, and making sure you're put down when you return to this point.
It's so dark.
It's dark, man, but it's pretty true.
60 seconds remaining for Team Germany to hold this point against Poland. There's an boost from Proggy, going to go him in. Is it the bait and switch? There's a hack on the Dino. There's nothing he can do. Nesh is going to take him down, mixing it up with the Sombra, but he didn't see that one coming as the nano boost lightning is going to flow through Proggy straight into the mech of his opponent and take him out. Cranks up on the high ground with that Dragon Strike, just stalling out Dex. They're going to send Proggy at him instead. Take him down. Nice stagger. 20 seconds remaining for Poland.
Big shout out as well to Meta there with the great self-destruct. The 2 supports, it didn't kill them, but it forced them far away from the tanks, so they could not give any healing at all, and that's why you saw him get demexed so quickly on. Shadow very looking to walk away with his life there. Nesh, he's in the back line, hasn't got the ultimate online, but he's doing work.
Crack's been taken out of Matwo. Danye's got the Dragon Blade. It might be all on him to keep Poland alive on this map. He gets close, but he hasn't committed the blade. Has to dodge out of that sound barrier as he moves in with the blade. Dooku taking out Nesh. Shadow onto Cranks, but Danye still only getting a DMX so far. Cannot commit to the kill. He's going to go for the face of Mete, but it's Shadow picking it up. This might be enough for Poland to turn this around on Germany. They have the spawn advantage, and they're getting the kills to make it happen.
So all it takes sometimes is a DMX to remove that defense matrix in the back line. Suddenly doesn't look so healthy, but Poland with a last-second rally, they find themselves in a situation to push into Germany's second point and try and complete Volskaya. Looking at Matwell with the hack with the EMP more than anything else. That's the big one for me. I'm staring at. Trying to get in the backline. They might go for a very quick rush here and just try and get a hack down onto these crucial members in the backline. Let's not forget it was Germany I was speaking about who employed this a lot yesterday, making sure the supports were hacked out nice and quick and they could melt them down. He's already seen the Ana. He knows where both of them are. This could be a big EMP if they've got the tanks in sync.
And we already know how useless an EMP Lucio is, or a hack Lucio for that matter. Be quite difficult to deal with. Throws up in the middle, wants to go for the multiple targets, and it might be the opportunity for Poland to capitalize on it, but he's been shut down by their own EMP and a biotic nade to keep him out of the fight. Dexter was going to pick up one with the self-destruct, but they're doing it manual on the side of Germany, taking out Shadow with just raw damage. They're going to push the Polish team back. What looked like an impressive offense has crumbled.
Well, Matwell was clearly lurking there, waiting for that EMP to come through, because as soon as it happened, he came out of his cover, dropped his own EMP down, so all those members who had just dived in to try and capitalize on the Polish EMP, well, they got shut down as well, and suddenly it was everyone without abilities just kind of clawing away at each other, hoping someone would go down with those 30 damage melee melee attacks, not really going to lead to much, but ultimately it was Germany who prevailed with that longer EMP on their side.
Self-destruct coming out for the German side. It's Mete over the top. Everyone took cover, but they're fighting on the high ground. Someone's got critical health. That's another on the boot as well. Look at them all running out. There's so many red crosses here, Des. I don't know how they're supposed to sustain through this. Dooku just left flustered as he also gets the damage thrown at him as well.
Short answer to this, you can't sustain through it. They get wiped out once again and pushed back. 2 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. And Germany, they're definitely not at a shortage of ultimates here. You could say the same about the Polish side, that they've got that crucial ultimate in Darnay having that blade with a nano boost coming in from Dooku. As long as they manage to make it work and don't get counter EMP by Nesh, that could be their big clearing situation. But for Germany, with both defense ultimates online, it's a tall order.
Looking to go and put that through the kitchen right now as they jump onto the high ground. Same old with this one. Nesh lurking around. Matwo slept right on the back line as that Sombra is going to get taken out. Here he goes. The explosion of sound barriers and EMPs locking him down. Sleep Dart won't connect with Darnay. Still going to cut through them. The Cranks are doing exactly the same onto Zeno on the back line. It's 2 kills for Poland. It's 1 for Germany. I know who wins that trade with Genji Mathematics as Darnay makes sure that Cranks has been shut down again. Poland have a slight man advantage, but with spawn attrition in favor of Germany, I don't know if it's enough to get this point.
Maybe not quite yet, but they've managed to get themselves on. They start getting some cap in as well. They've got to get over that 33% mark to make this worth it. But Germany have come back out in force. They are forcing Poland all the way back to spawn. And that was all for nothing, Tridge. They burnt almost everything there in that fight Poland did, and the only thing they're walking away with is an EMP.
All that for a drop of blood, and 1 minute 10 remaining on the clock. Not looking good for Poland. They've got an EMP in their pocket. They're climbing towards a self-destruct. And I'm sure a couple of ultimates will be able to follow up with that, but we've still got ourselves a Dragon Blade for Cranks, and we're going to be looking to deploy that in the next fight.
We've got the space creator of Meta as well with the self-destruct. If they want to throw it in and force those supports back again, it worked out wonderfully for them earlier on when it came around to the defensive duties on first point.
Oh no.
How was this time around? Matwo caught on the back though, gets hacked out by Nesh and dropped down quickly.
Detected and hacked. Germany already have the edge. Darnay will be forced out, can't deflect that lightning. He's not Anakin Skywalker. He's going to have some difficulty dealing with that.
Reset again just from the one pick-off onto the Sombra because they knew that the Sombra was their intel gatherer here who was going to feed information, drop the EMP down and give them that final push. But you heard the death knell coming through, 30 seconds remaining. They find themselves in the spot of Botherford. They've got to make it work now, but Nesh has got other plans.
Nesh got a plan with that EMP. Dooku on the back line, no ability to use. Matlock will take out Kodak before being taken out by Cranks. Darnay with that Dragon Blade onto Mete. Shadow follows up onto Cranks. Krogi's just letting those fists fly on the point. Team Germany have got this one on the wraps.
Like I say, he's not really much of a space creator. He's more of a murderer, bringing down most of the Polish lineup. They're back on the point now as well, though, and even with only 1 or 2 members there, they're slowly starting to contest this one out. The blade comes through, and that's all that's needed to close this one out. Cranks doesn't even need it, but he's still cleaning his way through. There's only Matwo here on the Doomfist. That should be the end of the assault from Poland. Now Germany, they get to show us what they're made of on Volskaya Industries.
Based on what I've seen from Germany already, I somehow think they'll get over 33% on point B. But Poland have put themselves into a really good position here where they're not going to fall victim to losing the series here because they failed to complete the map, which was what we see if someone's got a 2-0 lead traditionally. So the fact that they had Numbani in their pocket means the series is still alive, even if they lose Volskaya.
I would imagine with the 4th map, same as Numbani, it will be their map pick. And they will have some preparation, they'll have done some reviewing of their own, no doubt. Germany aren't the only team, of course, who will have been analysing yesterday's VODs to make sure they're aware and what adaptations need to be made today to guarantee success. The problem then comes that if you do go to 2-2, going into the 5th map, it's a control map. And we saw exactly how that went earlier on today.
It's not just a control map, it would be Germany's choice, assuming Germany win Volskaya.
Or assuming they lose the 2nd one. Or the 4th map even.
There's a lot of assumptions to be made here. Nothing is guaranteed.
It's a big thonker, lots of thinking to be done.
But even Poland here, they could full hold Germany. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see
Endless
what they're
possibilities.
Do. Endless possibilities indeed. Infinite as we look at Poland moving towards that point A. The defense they're running that 3-2-1 composition they like so much, with Darnay being the solo DPS on that McCree.
I think when you know that Darnay is so much so the linchpin, not only from a shot calling perspective, but as your DPS player, again, some sympathy goes to Matwo here as well, because you are playing under such a prolific DPS player, but there is no reason why you wouldn't put a lot of your resources into making sure this guy stays alive and pops off. We already see what he can do with it when it came to Numbani. Now he's going to try and make it work on the 1st. They're still bringing the Mercy to the 4, which is what I like to see again. that res can be oh so crucial in holding out the first point. That was very British, that oh so.
Oh, so.
It's oh so crucial.
Hip,
We'll
hip,
go with
cheerio.
it. Hip, hip, cheerio.
We'll save those for when we're
Toodaloo.
casting a UK match, Des.
We shall. For Germany, though, they're going to roll out the gate by the looks of it with Cranks playing on that Hanzo. It may just be a scout, at least initially. But I imagine this will be more of a push out here. There we go. Changing it over to play with the Sombra and the Genji. Pretty much their go-to bread and butter competition in this Paris World Cup group stage.
Germany absolutely love this. When they don't have to play Ghost, this is what they're going to play. Fantastic, yeah. Works well for them, so what we've seen so far. Already got control of high ground. This is something that Germany were willing to contest themselves when they were on the defense. Instead, Poland are going to be hiding around that control station. Not letting themselves out. Nicely done. Crank's going to finish it up. Darnier, star player cut down. That's your only source of DPS coming out of there as well. Germany very rapidly taking that first point.
Shadow trying to get in there as well to at least contest the point with your main tank gone. It's only a matter of time before the supports two are melted down. Dex is in there to waste some time, but to be honest with you, I think for Poland, this defense is over and they're going to have a solid 7-minute defense on point B.
7 minutes for 33% of a point. There's, should we start talking about map 4?
Oh, Rialto, you mean?
It's probably going to be Rialto, but let's look at point B of this one. Like I said, 7 minutes, they've got to get 33%. Poland, with the spawn in their favor, might be able to pull out a biblical defense, because that's what they're going to need to keep alive on Volskaya.
They're relying on Dooku getting hold of this Transcendence ASAP. 25% to go, because on the German side, Kodak, he's got that nano boost. When doesn't this guy have it? They've got the EMP. They're about to get the Blade. They've got all the tools in their kit to end this map right now.
To be very clean, EMP online for Nesh. He has been spotted out, so he hasn't got the stealth. He's going to pop the EMP regardless. Here comes the nano blade from Cranks onto Danye, onto Dooku. Wants one more. He's trying to find himself Zeno, but he's really stunned up by Brig. Matwo might have stopped the flow of the Genji. There's too many bodies on the point. Resurrection coming out, bringing Danye back into the fold, but they need bodies on the point. The high noon comes too late. He must be running on European time rather than the cowboy time he's used to. It's looking like we're going to map 4 with a 2-1 lead in favor of Germany.
It's like we said, they had all the tools required to close things out there at the very end. They waited for that Transcendence to come up on the side of Poland, but it just wasn't there quickly enough. If that had been online, it could have been a very different story, but with the EMP still there, well, he would have had to pop it before the EMP came through, which would have meant a lot of guesswork on his side.
There we have it, 2-1 in favor of Germany going in there. There's 2-1 scoreline on Volskaya as well. So jumping into map 4, we've joked around, it's probably going to be Rialto.
Why wouldn't it be Rialto? Have you seen a map other than Rialto so far?
Route 66, Germany played it earlier.
Very true, very true.
Their map pick as well.
Their pick. No, it wasn't. They won the third map.
Of course, they won Volskaya, so it would have been the French map pick. We're going to be going on to map 4. Des, what do we expect to see here? We're assuming it's going to be Rialto.
I think realistically, Poland have a plan. You don't come into this one just thinking, oh, well, we'll choose Rialto because it's the one everyone's more familiar with and has played before. They come into this one with, the same as they did in Umbani, with an idea on how to beat Germany. You have to prep for these kind of series like this. And they know that if they lose this, then their BlizzCon run is pretty much over. You go down 0-3, you're pretty much guaranteed, or I'm thinking,
like Germany.
Oh, quite literally guaranteed, like the Germans, to not make it to BlizzCon. So I think they really want to bring something up here, buck their ideas up. Of course, it's going to be dependent on what map we see as to what strategies we see either team try and employ. But I think we've seen across this series that neither team is really resigned to playing one composition. They're more than happy to mix things up and change as things go along.
Poland's pick, let's see what it is. Are we going to be surprised, or is it more the status quo? We're going to Dorado!
Nice, cool. So we might actually see some sniper play here as well, especially around that first point. Again, lots of nice sight lines coming through. Curious to see if we see teams opt to go in with more like the Zen and the Ana, or if teams stick to the more kind of preferred safe pick for most teams these days, which is the Ana with the Lucio. Those players can protect each other incredibly well.
Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a dance to the music.
Bit of a fiesta on your own.
People get annoyed by this. I don't. I quite like it. It's very festive.
I wish he hadn't told you.
Yeah.
The producers were saying that you were coming back. Because if you didn't know this,
he told me, so I'm not doing it anymore.
Do you want to show them what you were doing?
No, absolutely not.
It was something like this, but he does it far better than I do. I'm just glad you're not dancing as a living, mate. I'm glad that you're here casting with me and it's not more of a dance.
That would be absolutely horrible if I was dancing for a living. I probably wouldn't survive. Like, I wouldn't earn enough.
You'd be standing there going, are people like, this is dancing? It's movement of the body. It's dancing, okay?
Maybe in some countries.
Well, let's go and have a dance in the market of Dorado, Trid. That's where we're heading to first and foremost on that first point. It's going to be Poland on the first attack. Germany racking up their ideas on the defense. Again, this is Poland's map, so they'll be the ones with the big ideas to bring out and show us what they're made of.
On the defense for Germany, going to be running with that tried and tested Sombra Genji combo.
I think when they're in a situation where maybe they aren't too sure what to expect, it's not a bad shout. In the ideal scenario here is that, one, they're very confident in Cranks playing the Genji. confident with the supports they've got. Again, in this case, it's the Ana and the Lucio, because the sight lines are okay, but more if you're a Widow, because it requires a lot of vertical mobility to make use of the archway at the back. And if Nesh scouts something out that goes, actually, this comp isn't really going to work too well for us here, he just goes back, recalls back to base and goes, okay, let's change out to play Widowmaker if we need it. We can go for the Tracer, we can stay on the Sombra. You do tend to see Tracer a lot more, sorry, Sombra over Tracer a lot more these days. Tracer more of a niche pick at this point. An alternative, if you really wanted to, you could even put him on something like a Brigitte.
Can Poland force out map number 5? Doesn't look like a very solid path to victory, because we know what the control record is between these two teams. On their offense, they're running triple tank. They're running triple tank with the Sombra DPS.
They're running out with the Pog Hog as well. No Zarya to be found.
All right, Pog Hog, let's see what you can do. Can you get a hook?
Yeah, the hooks are very, very useful for threatening high ground like this. If you get one pick off, they're pretty much guaranteed to be dead when they land at your feet, because you have so many members around you. And I think the case of having Dooku on side is with all those 3 big bodies in front of you, you need it. It's almost like trying to play 3-3 without the Zarya, except you need the Sombra as well for the big EMPs. Problem here, I think, for Danye is that it isn't really going to be super useful to them. They'd probably prefer to see him play something like a McCree or a Brigitte to stun them when they land in front of them.
But you also got to remember, if you can hack if you get yourselves a hack Doomfist, Doomfist, Roadhog, you're going to find yourself some difficulty, but the kills are coming in. The EMPs and the hacks against Cranks. Got himself a couple of kills. Payload still in motion. Poland have a slight edge at the moment as the Sleep Dart comes through and tags one of the Polish teammates. Just losing so much ground at the moment as Dooku's coming back out of spawn. A hook. We have a couple of kills for Dexter as Matt Woe going to find Kodak as well. Pushing onto the line. That's a first take for Poland.
Well, it's like we said, Poland would not come into this map without a plan, and the best thing of all that was they lost Dooku early on. All that burst healing you get out of the Moira. She can kick out 155 health per second to keep everyone topped up when she uses her primary fire in conjunction with the healing orb. Didn't even really need it. They still pushed through, just using Immortal, sorry, Ziana on the back of that one to get themselves blasting through, pick off key members, and it all started with that initial grab onto Proggy at the start. This is exactly why you bring Roadhog to the party. If you don't want to play high ground, maybe you're afraid of heights, you bring them down to you instead.
Danye's got an EMP nearly ready to go, but they're going to drop down early, though, rather than hold that high ground. Proggy's been hacked, so he can't jump away. Moving towards the HP pack. Shadow looking for the charge. Might not land it properly. Here comes a Nano Blade, immediately EMP'd out, so he might not be able to get that combination he needed, and Crank's going to be taken out by Dooku. That's the reverse of what should happen as Danye moves onto the back line his own. He hacks the Lucio, makes him useless, and then guns him down with the machine pistol. Poland are on a roll.
Hello, Germany. Where are you? What's happened this map? You fell apart because Poland so far have been pretty much uncontested. This payload has barely stopped moving, bar the one initial fight early on their push up the rampway. Just every single fight, again, they've got a plan. They know what they want to do. Germany go, right, we now identify what it is you're trying to do. We know our win condition. We're going to switch over to some tried and tested 3-3 to try and break this apart.
How tried and how tested is it against a self-destruct from a Diva? Well, he managed to get themselves away. Danye with a double kill. Cranks and Nash falling down. Proggy tries to answer the call with a flame strike of his own onto Shadow. It's not going to be enough to stem the flow. They're about to touch it. There's a small contestation coming out from Team Germany. Where's the aggression from Poland to make sure they seal the deal before the Germans can regroup and get themselves back on the offense? Mete going low, much lower than his opponent. Here comes the Transcendence to sustain everyone else, but Matwo still going to get the D-Mech on Mete before that happens. Hook pulls Kodak away with that Transcendence away from the team. EMP comes out afterwards, followed up a huge shatter by Shadow, and they're going to push Germany all the way back to their spawn room and move on to the final phase of this map, and a hook from Matwo to take out Immortal once more.
Germany, a little bit of hesitation shown there. Once Shadow was gone and they had no frontline tank, that was their go button when they needed to push forward and try and clear Poland out. Instead, they just stood there, they held the line inside the doorway, almost too scared to try and threaten or punish Poland. And as soon as Shadow came back, well, what doesn't the EMP combo with these days? In this case, we've seen it a lot with the self-destruct already. Here, it was with that Earth Shadow, and as soon as that shield was out the way of Proggy, it came through, every single member was shattered, and they get a nice, easy clean.
And they need to push through these gates. Germany holding very tight to these doors that have now closed. There's a nice choke situation like we get on Rialto, where there's not many avenues for them to get through. That's why they want to hold it there. Self-destruct being sent back is going to force them to reposition. No one's going to go down, but it's going to open up the door slightly for Poland to creep in like a draft as they move onto the back line. Coalesce is going to cut through any shielding they had. That's a low map where it needs some healing. Immortal coming in. He's also going to find himself with Kodak on that Transcendence. Both support ultimates being used. Graviton Surge for Kodak to finish off. And Proggy locked in a room with Danye. Going to smack him around a little bit. Will get the kill. Team Germany finally put the brakes on the Polish train.
The found their metal almost there. Poland burning a lot of ultimates to try and make that play work and ultimately get punished. I think Dexter also being stalled out a little bit here as well. It's going to leave him without an ultimate for now. 40% on that mini diva. Might be able to get it back online. It's not really something you see very often because teams are more than happy to finish her off before she can get back towards the team because of the spawn delay that can come through.
Still need to get through that Rialto-esque chokehold from the spawn room. Sure they can manage it. Most teams do find a way. Dexter still being staggered out without his mech. He's on 99%. He's going to get it back now. But nice bit of a stagger they had there. 46%. So he's getting close to that self-destruct. Shatter being held onto by Progi. They want to move through the two. They're coming in through fast on the right-hand side. He times this right. They could roll over Poland once more. He's getting in the front line. No protective barrier isn't an option. Shatter comes out, hits a few behind the shield, but not everyone. They will get a D-Mech from to Dexter. Crank's going to be the one to secure that for them. They're moving on to the interior. Progi wants to hold this front line still, allow his team as much space as possible, but he's stunned up, going to be pushed back, protective barrier is there, but make sure the damage doesn't come through for him, and the payload begins to get in motion. Graviton Surge pulls them together. There's another Transcendence being used, going to be answered by Germany, using their own. They pull a Transcendence. It's a mirror flip ultimate usage, but ultimately equates to nothing but a few kills, as Zano is going to find Mete from a D-Mech that Shadow made possible.
The demons have been heavily punished in the last couple of minutes, being knocked out of mechs, kept out of mechs, being the focus of fights. It's just that that defense matrix is so crucial when you're trying to get a lot of damage layered down with these projectiles. In this case with Shadow, he's about to hit his Earth Shatter as well. Progi is nowhere nearby. That could be their big ultimate they're looking for, but here comes the self-destruct.
Onto the back line, we'll find two, Mete! The name so twice, you might say it. Name so nice, you might say it twice. I messed that one up, but let's go back into the cast itself. Dexter going to be moving forward. Like I said, punished Divas, Des. No mech for him.
And they're literally just leaving him to it, so he's got to go and run off the edge as well. The thing is, Diva can get the map back very quickly with that little pistol, but you've got to start landing the shots, and there we go, he's got his map back. He's rewarded for his persistence.
He's got it. Nice and easy. Self-destructing his pocket this time around. He's going to be moving Poland further back. Get himself up into the high ground. Test Mete. Hopefully break through him. What else we got in the buffet? Shadow's got that Earth Shatter. Oh, going to use that Graviton Surge. Nice combo. They can time it right in the charge. No shield available for them. Still going to be able to push away. But now they answer with a Graviton Surge of their own. Well, not with Transcendence. There's the Earth Shatter hitting a few members. It's just the Divas getting punished yet again. As Messi is going to be looking for the floor. But here's the D-Mech and a kill from Danye. Poland pushing forward. They're not letting them anywhere near. They're all the way in the spawn room. Who's contesting that point
Immortal.
and not allowing them to do so? Immortal on the Lucio looking to come back in.
No.
Push forward, but they cannot touch. Poland is going to complete. They're going to have some time to do it all over again.
He was left hanging there as well as he went for the fist bump. And there we go. Finally, Ziano will return that one to him for a job well done. And again, Poland on their map picks. You cannot write them off. 3-0 with a full completion on Dorado. Now they've got to show us their defensive strategies. We've already seen a pretty good attacking one. They basically got to the whole of the second point there, playing the Roadhog. And Matwo, to his credit, doing a great job on that as well. Some of the big grabs landing onto people like Progi just meant they could shut down that tank front line, meant there was no real engage opportunity for Germany. And for a while, you saw them struggling and kind of stranded, trying to find an answer. Ultimately, 3-3 was their go-to solution, and it worked for a short time, but wasn't quite enough to deliver them a full hold, or not even a full hold, a hold of any kind.
Roadhog was pretty good for him. Pretty good for Poland as well.
The Pog was supreme.
Roadhog or Pog Hog? I'm a Roadhog kind of guy.
I like both.
I feel like the Og is already there. You should just switch it.
I think you can use both. It just depends on the situation.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what the differentiator is. No doubt it's one of those things that we'll use to fill time when it comes to contenders.
All of you at Desertu,
No,
what
please.
it should be, hashtag OWWC
Just do a poll
2018.
instead.
No, just at Desertu
Poll is far
constantly.
easier.
We'll let you know which one. Let us know. We'll let him know which one you prefer.
You're counting them, by the way.
Good luck. No, I'm just doing it. Des, what they don't know is I'm using it to irritate you with notifications. I'm using them.
That's all going on mute very, very soon. But one thing that's not muted is this series. I always like these little cheeky transitions we bring in. Germany, as said, they're the ones on the attack, and they just witnessed a very, very strong Polish attack. Those first 2 points, as said, the payload barely stopped moving, and they will need to now try and reciprocate that back onto Poland to give themselves a hope of finishing with a time bank at all, realistically, because Poland have got 57 seconds in there. Of course, as long as they at least complete, there will be overtime for both teams. It just means that Poland will have that extra 57 seconds over Germany if we find ourselves in overtime.
Is their Dorado defense as good as their Numbani defense? I want to find out and see if that's the case. Danye eyeing up the sightlines, looking for someone to take down.
Double sniper. With the
So,
Orisa as well.
not been able to actually land a shot yet.
I don't think so. But this is one thing that I think the Polish really like playing, it seems to be, is playing on the high ground. We saw in Numbani how strong they were and how resolutely they could hold Germany back. They're trying to do the same here. In this case, with the Orisa, which is probably the biggest surprise for me, I thought they'd probably bring the Winston out to play still, but no, they're relying on that spammable shield to keep themselves safe, make sure that their snipers have got some kind of protection. This isn't too far away from what we saw in Overwatch League for a long time, which is seen as the counter to double snipers, where instead of like the Zenyatta in this case on Dooku, you put a Roadhog in the mix as well, and it is very difficult to break through the front line.
Well, Froggy's going to try and get into the back line. Cranks and Nesh are all in position. Dexter's already taken out Kodak. Like you said, Des, Dooku's sorted out Nesh, so whatever Germany had planned has been put to bed very quickly.
It has, and I think for Poland, they abandoned that high ground pretty quickly. They were like, right, as soon as it gets around this corner, we don't want to play with them underneath us. Let's back out into Market Way and hold the top of the hill.
It was perfect timing. You were talking about how they like to hold high ground as they
backed
transition
away.
to the low.
I was like, great, cheers, guys. It just seems to be a bit of a staple for this team is that they do like the initial high ground, then we'll say. I mean, technically, it's still high ground, right? There's still a hill there. There is still some climbing work to do for Germany. Trying to claw back.
They're gonna claw back some pride and not go 0-5 this group stage. And it starts by beating Germany. Beating Germany, beating Poland. They've already defeated themselves. Their day one selves.
Played their own mind games for sure. Though again, the performance against France earlier, 3-2, an absolute banger of a series. If you missed it, I advise going back and watching it. That definitely showed they've got the capability to take games away, but they're struggling at the minute against Poland.
They're not paying any attention to Matwo whatsoever. I don't think they might need to. They've already removed Shadow with the Flame Strike and the payload's been stuck in motion. No one's touching.
Oh dear.
That's a little bit of too much of a concession from the Polish side for my liking, Des, as the rest of Germany's just going to wipe through them.
They're the ones taking the initiative for most of this series as well, and taking engages on their terms when it suited them, especially on Numbani. Otherwise, it's all been Germany's story doing exactly the same thing, starting with their triple DPS on Sanctum on Nepal in the first map of this series. Poland go, you know what, okay, we're going to drop away from playing that double sniper now. We'll keep hold of the Hanzo, but we're also going to go for Afara. This was a comp we saw a lot 2 to 3 months ago as a response coming up against a tank-heavy competition like this. The question for Danye is how much work can he do on this Farah? From what we've seen him in the past, Trid, he can do a lot.
Oh, look, another Danye hero. He's just flexing his muscles again. With his hero pool, might be the right solution here. Dragon Strike going to cut through multiple members of Germany. Will be enough to help get a D-Mech from Dexter. No, Dexter actually getting a kill onto Nesh. As Danye's going to hide around on the high ground, fire those rockets into the back line. This is going to be quite difficult for Germany to get through. They don't really have an answer for a high ground hero such as Farah.
And the general response we've seen from a lot of teams to deal with a Farah is that you get the ultimate from your Moira online, you use the Coalescence to keep on focus firing onto the Farah, and your D.Va then flies up into the air either to contest and put some damage down, or just to make sure that it's quite hard for him to get away, because have a D.Va in your face the whole time.
Self-destruct
easy. That might be it as well.
Round. Danye
Yes, it
still
is.
gets him. Sano and Danye taken out by Meta self-destruct. That's always the plan B option if you're going to get a D.Va self-destruct to the air. And without the aerial pressure, Germany should be able to march forward yet again.
Just like they say with the Zenyatta's, simple geometry, and that's all it is for D.Va players. They just see the whole of Overwatch as a map of geometry. They're always trying to figure out the angles, doing the bit of, what's it, SOHCAHTOA as we get in GCSE to kind of get the sine, the tangent, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, it's sine cos Taz.
Sine cos tangent, and SOHCAHTOA was the old formula. That's the one thing I think I remember from GCSE maths.
Well, GCSE maths has clearly served you very well, Des. As Matwo coming in with the Dragon Strike, gets his own kill with the Storm Arrow afterwards onto Nesh. They're pushing back Germany, so they've stopped them on the cusp of capturing that second checkpoint. And look how far Germany's going back, all the way to the spawn room. They don't want to risk being picked off here by Danye, who can have very extended sight lines just using the height. He's looking to hunt down Meta, I think.
Danye's like, where
Still
are
out there.
you?
Yeah, I found you now, but I think he's missed his window. Meta being very sneaky there to get himself back to his teammates. And of course, where the payload is, they don't have to go around the front of Church. Instead, they can go around the back. And I think Danye knows this with the position he's holding. He's hiding from that angle, so he can go in with that barrage and rain from above. He's going to do it. Defense Magic is there. Who's the Dragon Strike as well for Matt to clear out Progi. So they get one kill already. Going to follow it up with a few more. Germany sent back 2 minutes remaining.
Beautiful play coming out of Poland as well, defensively minded. And I think in the EU, it's been a bit of a curse to press that Q key when you're playing Farah. We've seen many a good Farah player be brought down after using that barrage, but in that case, he was very safe, because as soon as any member of Team Germany turned to look at him, well, they weren't paying attention to the twin dragons spiraling towards their faces, which would have melted through very quickly. So a good sync-up play there between Matwo and Danye.
It's a luxury if they actually get to finish the barrage in EU. They usually get killed during. Well, Shadow's been displaced from that high ground already. Gonna give it over to Germany, trying a different angle of approach. Scouting Arrow is going to see where they all are hiding around. Immortal right on the back line. Crank's going to take out Dooku. So we'll be missing that Zenyatta for the next fight, and so close to Transcendence as well. This is Germany's avenue to get into an attack. That double sniper composition. Nesh can go to the other side. I think someone spotted him out. He's playing very safe around the window. He doesn't want to peek. He's going to be trying to get a tag on. He's going to find Matt Woe as Cranks is taking out Danya as well. Both snipers down. Germany finding multiple kills. Nesh taking Mercy out of the sky. Followed up with a kill. It's going to be Cranks. The D-Mech. Nesh get the kill. Germany moving on to the final phase of this match.
Snipers making an art piece out of that second point there as well. Dooku on the Zen doing work alongside the double snipers. Well, not really much to be said outside of that one. Poland get themselves pushed back, but to be fair, this time bank is playing very heavily in Poland's favor. They're only about a minute or so behind Germany at this stage. They won't have too many worries. They hold one fight, and they will have a stronger time bank going into overtime, assuming Germany completes it all.
Goats for the final stage of this map, and you said it pretty well there, Des. They've only got 2 minutes left, and Poland already has a minute after completion, and they managed to get there in time to have that chokehold position. They can hold it straight up. Self-destruct coming through, they're going to have to shield it. Shadow's in the right position for it. It's a fadeaway, puts them into safety as well, but they've given up that initial door and chokehold. Stunned up Progi, won't go down, pushing forward with that protective barrier and the Transcendence from Kodak to keep everyone alive. Meta will take out Shadow, so they have a man advantage pushing into this fight, but the cart still being contested by the backline of Poland.
Yeah, Dooku here being on the Moira means that, yes, they can survive these fights longer, but they don't have the killing potential that Kodak Zen brings to this fight. And Germany, they take full advantage of that and make it work. Dooku's going to change over to the Ana here. They're relying on that anti-nade to burn through the healing coming out of Germany and let them bring down those big, beefy frontline tanks. Down to 1:08 in the time bank.
Two trains of force. You change Zenyatta or the Ana. Poland definitely feel more comfortable with Dooku on this Ana. Progi Shatter going to be throwing it forward, but it doesn't find anything as Matwo's going to clear out Germany with a flame strike. They could have walked it into the finale. They're going to have to try it again with 50 seconds on the clock.
One more fight to go, and we find ourselves going into the second, fifth map series of the day. Nesh, he's got hold of that Graviton Surge. Not really too much to comment with just yet. They're about to get Medi's self-destruct online. That could be the winning formula they need, but Ziano looking towards him. He's got the sound barrier coming online. If he can deploy that at the appropriate time, they can negate a lot of the damage coming out of there. They'll still lose members, but it's relying on Germany getting a perfect execution of this combination.
I'm looking towards Shadow's Shatter as well. They're going to put that Graviton Surge in Eaton. He's not going to get it off. Nesh has just wasted a winning scenario for Germany. Here comes the counter-attack. Blocked out Shatter by Progi. They're going to bubble Shadow. Still getting a kill onto Cranks. They're moving forward. Sound barrier to reinvigorate the fight. 8 seconds remaining for Team Germany to touch this point. They don't want to allow him. Nano boost to Shadow, but he has to shield the self-destruct. Moving forward on the team. Wasted a nano boost. Protective barrier going to keep him alive. They're still fighting over. Shadow comes out. Multiple members knocked down, but they're going to charge through to buy some more time. Shadow putting himself in the line of fire to protect his team as they're going to keep Germany more far away from this point.
Shadow managed to survive through all this damage, but out comes another Graviton Surge. This time not eaten, but not a single member from Poland falls down. Germany are still holding it here. Shadow gets blocked out. Another Graviton Surge Trid. They're throwing the kitchen sink at them.
The Zarias are charging so fast, it's unreal. Self-destruct going up into the air. No one wants to give up this point. No kills still found. This is such an elongated fight until Danya gets a D-Mech onto Meta. That could open things up if they can just get a kill. Sound barrier again. Nobody touches. Germany are going to find themselves in Game 5 because Poland just won Dorado.
You can hear the rapturous applaud from the crowd, and you've got to say, once again, a team coming into this that every team had written off as being a 5th or 6th place team. They are putting up one hell of a series, and now the problem is that they go into a German map pit. They go to a control map of Germany's choosing, and given the first one went 2-0, this will be an uphill battle, but they can take inspiration from how maps 2 and 4 have gone in this series.
It's the control conundrum. Germany have to pick their map pick. We know it's a weaker archetype for Poland. It's not looking good for them coming into map 5, but they have the momentum, the wind in their sails. Germany might be a little bit demoralized by this fact. They probably thought that this wasn't something that was going to happen at Game 5 after taking France to Game 5, who is supposed to be one of the best teams in this group. I don't know. We could find this going in Poland's way. I think it's unlikely based on what we know, though. Precedent tells us it's not. Heart kind of says it is, though. I don't know where to go with this one, Des.
What's really heartbreaking is I think every team deserves to walk away from this group stage with a win, just so they get that feeling of elation on that live stage, because you feast off that forever, and that can last for months, if not years, in terms of keeping you motivated and wanting that feeling once again.
Poland and Germany are the only teams
that haven't won
a map. Well, they've won maps. Haven't won a series. Let's have a look at that 5th and final map. control, it's Oasis.
Okay, so a lot of tank play can come out on Oasis, and that's maybe where some worry comes in, because Germany has seen a lot of success on maps where they aren't really playing too much tank play. And on Nepal, yes, especially around Shrine, we saw a lot of it. Outside of that, not really. When it came to Sanctum, they were the guys using the triple DPS setup to try and surprise and kind of out-aggress Poland when it came to playing around the point. Oasis itself is probably going to see more of that, but you might see Darnay go back across towards the Farah. Problem is, though, we've seen a lot of things like Garden when it comes to University. Teams are very, very keen to run out with tank-based composition, so that's where maybe you would give a slight edge to Germany, because as it stands so far, Poland have taken the advantage when they've got something that surprises the German side.
Surprises are in store. What are we going to find in Darnay's box of tricks? How deep does it go? Or is he going to stick with something he's had a great performance on so far, which is, of course, that McCree?
I love how Overwatch is becoming a game of chess these days as well. Or I might call it rock, paper, scissors. Pretty much a guess. There's only a few comps that you can really roll out with. But thanks to the diversity of the meta, you are seeing, even at this group stage and at other ones, where we're seeing a lot of different comps coming out. Germany, again, running an awful lot of Genji Sombra, a lot of tank-based play. Things like the McCree, triple DPS potentially here for Germany might be their answer. Surely not. They're going to change over an Immortal going in. I was going to say, if he played DPS, he's definitely taking that a bit too far.
Yeah, you probably got debated by that one, Des.
Slightly
but
debated.
Matwo, Darnay, McCree, and Hanzo combination for them. They probably expect a Farah coming out from the German roster.
Good choice, though, because Darnay and Matwo yet rolling out with the McCree means they can deal with this, but they've got to contest Nesh on the ground as well. So 2 areas to watch out for. Kodak finds the opening kill onto Dooku.
Already taking out Dooku, moving forward. Nesh follows up with a kill onto Zeno. That is, of course, going to be a German first cap.
Might choose to go back here and change up a pick or two as well on the Polish side. Yep, they will. Dooku going to be bringing out the Zen, and Ziano going over to the Mercy. Matwo even going to try and match it out here, playing on while they change straight back. So he basically wasted an ultimate there.
Yeah, but they wanted to get... Matwo already died.
Yeah, but he was on Hanzo, then went to Farah, then back to Hanzo.
Yeah, but they want to give Darnay the McCree.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a waste of an ult, but never mind. Small things like that can happen. They're rolling out the gate with what they've got once again. Just a change of support's really kind of the big change they're bringing to the fore here, then, Tris.
Gonna move forward. Shadow holding the shield, taking a lot of pressure. He can't quite get the angle to defend everyone from the rocket because Crack's doing such a good job at finding it. Nesh moving forward. Nearly got that high noon. With the McCree. Moves around to the side. 95%. Looking for that one hundo. Moving forward. Ooh, gets a tag from the right click. Krogi going very low as well. Gonna need a top up from his Mercy. Immortal being the one to provide that. They push forward onto the point. Dead Eye available, shields are up, so the protected barrier looking to the side for a flank. Can't get that instant kill, but it did buy more time for Germany to get more percentage as Darnay finally takes out the Farah and looks to the side of his own high noon. Can't pull the trigger, pulls it at the wrong time. Krogi's exposed to his bullets, but there's not enough defense there. He did step off the point long enough for the retake to come in for Poland.
So Kodak was very isolated there, away from his team to the side, trying to find a bit of a flank, but ultimately got collapsed on when his team could not push forward and contest the point. It's a good play coming out of Poland there, taking the point back at 51%. As things stand, Ultimate's definitely starting to favour Germany here, but they've got a couple of crucial ones coming online for Poland as well. I'm looking towards Dooku with that Transcendence to try and shut down much of what Germany might try and employ in this next fight.
You've also got the Grab Dragon combination coming out for Dexter and Matwo. They can hold on to it for longer. They might have to concede a fight to do it unless Matwo can generate that very quickly. It could be huge for them. Nesh is caught a little bit out guard by Dexter. Graviton Surge pulling Poland together. There's the Transcendence to stop all the barrage damage, but Crank still finds Darnay and Matwo as well. Double DBS taken out. Zeno can only resurrect one. His Shadow's on the point fighting with Krogi. Both Reinhardt's gonna stay alive. Orbital Discord and Harmony on one Reinhardt. It's hard to say how that's going to cancel out each other. Team Germany have control of the point. Shadow coming out. We're going to knock down multiple members, but Cranks is still finding kills on the Darnay. Knocking them around, using his aerial advantage. Shadow still finding Mercy.
Nice.
Flame Train, then a charge onto Meta. This guy's trying to put the team on his back as Dexter moves onto the point with the Zarya being healed up by Zeno, who gets that pistol kill on Kodak. Poland hold it without burning too much to kill him.
Dexter pops out the grab surge and Shadow goes, oh, you want assistance, fam? I got you covered. Fire strike through to bring down the Mercy because there was no other healing coming through. Charges through and brings down the main tank. So maximizing the efficiency of that ultimate with just one member. Maximum return on investment. They hold the point with a number of ultimates on their side. Germany might be coming in for their final fight here if they don't engage soon.
Here comes the Dragon trying to keep things off. Darnay's already found Kodak, so they don't have a Transcendence, so they
Mete
can't
split,
build
he's
it
gone.
anyway. Look at that with the kill onto Mete from the side. Matwo comes forward, 90% and ticking. They've taken everyone out. There's only 5% remaining. Germany are not going to be able to touch this. Round one is going to go over to Poland.
I can't believe it. You hear the crowd, you see the crowd. Even they're rooting for the underdog in this case, and I think calling them
Who is the underdog? Who are you calling the underdog in this one?
You come into this and you definitely say Poland comes in as the underdog. On paper, yes, both down with no wins in any series so far throughout the World Cup group stage. But I think if you came into this, you definitely would have put some money on Germany being the team to walk away. But as it stands, this has been a heroic performance so far. And knowing they are one round away from bringing down Germany, they've got to be feeling it right now. I mean, Dooku...
Composed.
You say composed, I'm just like, yep, focus on the game. Don't worry about the fact that we might just about to win a series, guys. Stay calm, win it, then we celebrate.
All it takes is for one of these teams to take down the UK and France, and we can say this is the group stage of the underdogs fighting back. Taking out each other, fighting in the pit. We don't expect Poland. Poland taking out Germany. We kind of put Poland and Italy in tier 3, Germany in that tier 2. If they can beat that tier out, then we kind of throw everything below first and second place to the quantum wins there's moving into day 3 potentially. But Danye on this Sombra, ready to win it out, looking to bring Poland a first victory at this group stage. Germany looking to do exactly the same.
Both on identical comps as well, bringing out the Sombra Racer, something we haven't seen for quite a while, to be honest with you. Clearly quite popular for City Centre for both teams. Just a lot of hacks going back and forth, but no members really going down yet.
Franks has got that pulse bomb, going to throw it out. Nice sticky on the Shadow, not going to be able to kill him because he's getting the healing and the ability to get out of the fight. Germany have positional advantage, and they're pushing onto Poland as Coalescence are drowning both teams in healing and damage. They're basically cancelling out. Matwo with no mobility, he's just been hacked out. Moving on to Meta, he's been hacked out himself. No defense matrix available. And they've got Matwo with the EMP for us, the pulse bomb, but his target's already dead. Moves on to Kodak, who can't fade away, but can still deal damage. Dooku's going to help him out with the orb of damage as Dexter goes on cleanup duty with help on Matwo. Poland get the first cap on what could be the final round of this series.
Germany did not choose to burn their EMP in that fight. Nesh a little bit too far removed from that fight to be able to get in and drop it down at a crucial time. Now he's got it online though. You know that Ziano is going to have his, given Immortal is just getting his sound barrier online. They're going to want to hold it out there, and as soon as that sound barrier comes through, drop it down and crush them and take back over this point.
Nesh in the back line, good at the point very early. Ziano left by himself, but he's trying to get away. He's got no mobility. He's going to leave Progi to clean up the scraps as he wants to go back and get himself recovered. Jumping onto the point, moving for that second support, looking for Dooku. It's going to fade away. Crank's going to track him down, though. Germany have got this one on the wraps. Calm, collective play, despite some jittery starts.
No sound barrier coming out of Ziano means it is a pretty easy fight to win. You don't have his mobility, you don't have his AoE healing. Germany managed to take over the point with just that EMP and their own sound barrier coming out. On the other side, though, Poland currently sat on 5 ultimates online. They have the scope to make a play. The question now is how long Germany can keep them at bay.
A lot of ultimates on board for Poland. They're going to send a self-destruct out into the back. They're all distracted, waiting for the explosion. No one to be found. Nesh gets Zano regardless, and Cranks has to pull out before he can finish off Dooku, but Nesh is there. Look at the scraps. Starting to look like they're going to match Poland's charge on this point because they have to reset, and they're keeping them nowhere near the capture point.
Nesh has managed to build his EMP back up while bringing down 2 supports there. Great value coming out of that last fight for him, and they still hold the point. Danye doing a bit of scouting work here, just finding who's around, what's going on, just want to get himself caught out. Looks like that's probably the case, though. Going to have to recall back away. And the team all circling back into joining once again. It's still not coming up against, but with all these ultimates online, this is going to be an incredibly explosive fight.
Immortal taxied his tank back into the fight. Daniel on the front line. Crank's going down low. Still has recall available. There comes the Coalescence through as Pro going to dive in. EMP onto the back line of Poland. They've got no answer to this aggression. They're going to get wiped again. Dooku and Zeno both using their defensive ultimates. Matwo only gets a D-mech for the side of Poland. This is German dominance, the likes we've never seen.
What you wanted to see as well. That means potentially we go through to a 3rd and final round on Garners to determine who walks away the winner. Poland, that's a very solid first fight. They've been completely rebuted so far, and they say, you know what, it's time to change things up. We're going to go for Stun City. We're going in for the McCree and the Brigitte here, with a couple of ultimates still online from those tanks.
It's the 3-2-1 comp they keep falling back onto. Des 3 supports, 2 tanks, and put Danye on the McCree. Let him rip. Will it be enough to break this Germany defensive hold? And they sacrifice a couple of ultimates. Progi with the Goomba Stomp. Danye already taken out, so that's the tip of the spear being removed for Team Poland. Locking him down. They might have to wipe again, but they haven't got a choice. 95%. This is not looking good for Poland. Team Germany are going to take it, and they're going to move us on to that final round of Oasis.
Still got the Primal Rage in effect here. They might have some members coming back in quickly. Danye and that Wrecking Ball is flying back towards the point, and here he is. The stall is in effect. The problem is Germany are wiping through these members, Trid. Only 3 remaining. It definitely looks like we'll be going through to that third and final round on Gardens. Dooku lurking around the Doomfist, catches one, but it's not going to be enough to fight the way back in now. Every member is wiped from the table. We'll go into Gardens, Trid. We'll go in the full distance to determine who wins this series.
And I did not expect that coming into the series, Des, and I don't think a lot of people did. But it's so good to see contestation at every level in this group stage. In fact, we're going to the final round, the final map of this series is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, Des, Gardens going to be the decider. This was Germany's map pick. Could it be that they were banking on, yeah, maybe University's not our strongest, but we know we can take City Center and we know we can take Gardens. Just bad RNG on the cycle.
It's a shame really for them because as it stands, they feel like the team that will be able to play on tank-favored maps or at least points in a much stronger way. And so we saw on the first map of the series, way back on the pod. It feels like a long time ago now. But in this case, Gardens has kind of been overtaken now, especially here in Europe, as a very tank-based map. Previously, it was a lot fairer play that we saw, but teams have gravitated towards playing around this 3-3 composition.
Look how condensed Germany is in comparison to Poland. They move as a solid unit all the way to the point, not willing to give it up. Purple grenade being put onto them, trying to strike through and capitalize on the lack of healing, but no one's going down just yet. Getting critical, but nothing confirmed. Points about to unlock. Germany have the positional advantage. They're going very low. Proggy could be going down. There's the mass healing. Earth Shatter being put down onto multiple members of Team Poland, but they're not following up with the kills until Mete comes in with the micro missiles. Poland have to concede it, but so are Germany. They're conceding, capturing the point. They want to send them back to the spawn room, guarantee the kills. They're doing just that. Mete leading the charge on the Diva.
Beautiful first fight coming out of Germany. Both of them playing around the environment as well, with Poland using the wall alongside the stairs. Germany playing instead around that center point. And it was a race to who got the crucial ultimates online first. And Proggy, he was at ultimate by the time Shadow was just hitting 50% on his Earth Shadow. So he just showed that he had the capability to get that online. That Shadow came down, connected with 5 people. The Mora, the only one to evade it thanks to the fade. And well, you saw the outcome on the back of that one. Now it's all for Poland to do the work. Eden
Graviton, Surge, Nesh unable to get his out. Danye's still got his own sound barrier to try and negate the self-destruct, but Shadow's still caught out. Matwo goes down low, he's going to drop as well. Germany, 30% and ticking, that's another one fight. They're going to walk away with their grab, with their Shadow, and the self-destruct they can hopefully deploy next attempt.
Poland are falling into the same curse as they did on the first map of the series, where they're getting these mistimed stuns coming out of Matwo on the Brigitte. I don't know if it's a communication issue or just the intent is being blocked by Germany, but every single time the Brigitte is going in, they are getting nothing from it. The health bars barely shift, and that's the biggest problem for them right now. They've got to stun Proggy up, they've got to bring him down, because once that Rhine is out the way, you can win these fights.
Nesh burned ult at the beginning of that fight. He's already at 78%. This guy is racking it up fast, holding on to that ult from Danye. He might be able to get a counter grab in this fight alone. That's a huge cycle. He's lapped him on Graviton. Surge is dead. They move into the fight. Grab Surge. Proggy's going to find 2. Here comes the bomb out onto the back. They separate the shield, but Proggy's going to be taken out. Krax is going to be found by Danye. Kodak with a bionic grenade to take out Matwo and Zano. They're going to use their Shatter to knock down multiple members, pushing off Nesh to the side. Germany still holding on to the point as they're reaching 80%. Transcendence having to be committed by Poland to try and get some kills as Nesh is being healed up by his team, but there's too much damage on the side of Poland to deal with. And Danye and Dexter are going to take him out. Dooku follows up onto Mede. Get rid of that Lucio, and you can look at capping the points.
Much better stuff coming out of Poland there as well. The very crucial thing at the start of that fight was they had the Diva on the right-hand side of the Rhine. As Crank came in to try and get the stun onto the Rhine to bring the shield down and get the Shadow onto the whole of Poland. No, the stun landed onto the Diva, it didn't connect, and they managed to push back with their own Shadow and catch out crucial members. Now Poland are in control. They've got a mountain ahead of them. 98% for Germany. They're losing a single fight, and Germany recap. This series is over.
No slip-ups for Poland if they want to win this one, but look how many people on critical health forcing out an early sound barrier. Germany going to retreat. They got plenty of time to play with. They're not the ones under pressure here to get on that point very quickly.
They know they've got time. They're just going to wait for those ultimates, the critical mass almost before they go for it. They've caught Shadow. This could be the end, Trid.
Graviton Surge from the side. They're trying to get behind him. Can't burn down any targets fast enough until Danye finds Kodak. He puts the fist forward, but Germany are the ones getting the kills. It's all over. Germany are going to flip this point. They're going to take this map, and they should be able to take this series.
Duco with a bit of a dance around the Maypole will only do a little bit of a distraction for them to begin with. They won't be able to get back on this point, I don't think. Shadow is in the area. Overtime is ticking down. Ziano is flying in.
They got to block him.
His point. He's done it.
There's no touch available until that sneaky little support gets on the back line, but they're just gonna fall. It's all staggered for Poland. The shatter just seals the deal as they get off the point. They're wiping them all over again. The fact they've had to do it twice is just valiant effort from Poland to get back there, but it's not enough. That's gonna be it. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Germany gets their first win of the group stage in a 5-map slogger knocker.
That beautiful sound of the crowd applauding what they know was a fantastic series. Doesn't matter which side you're supporting, you have to put your hands together for both sides in that one, I think, because no one would have expected Germany versus Poland in the middle of day 2 to go all the way, not just to map 5, but to the 3rd and final rounds.
You didn't imagine it to have the stakes of either of these teams winning their first match of the series. First match of the group stage, sorry.
First series overall. At least they don't go home in a 0-5 scenario, but look at the scoreboard as well. That just tells you what a slugfest this series was. Back and forth, alternating map wins the whole way through. And I think the crowd are thoroughly entertained. The players themselves, no doubt, had a lot of fun there as well. And this is what it's all about. You know what I think for Germany? They had a 5-map series against France, 5-map series here. They just want to maximize their playtime on stage.
They want to show off as best they can to potential OWL scouts, maybe some contender scouts who haven't quite made that leap so far. Good reason. I don't think they're potentially sandbagging games to get more game time. I think Poland just really put up a maximum effort performance there, and it shows. They took Germany, a team we would rate as potentially a 3rd or 4th place team coming into this group stage, took them the distance. Like, if Germany is having to go to 5-game series with both France and Poland, what are you going to say? Is it a coin flip team? Are Poland that strong that they haven't performed? What's going on here?
I think what you have to consider with Poland is even when we spoke to them coming into this, they said, you know, at the end of the day, Darnier is the only guy in this team with recent, should we say, because Matt Bowe's played previously as well, with like recent experience at a highly competitive level. Most of these guys, well, all of these guys except for Darnier are free agents. They are unsigned. And over the course of the World Cup, they will have warmed up a bit more. And I think that's the most important thing, is you can't just write them off and say, well, it's a one-man team, it's Darnier only. Because as we've just seen in this series, there are some fantastic players on this team that can deliver when it counts.
Speaking of fantastic players, Cranks was a standout star, and we got Zoe on the floor to have a chat with him now.
We do indeed. Thank you so much, guys. Now, everyone, please, let's hear it for Cranks and Team Germany, who just took that victory over the guys from Poland. So, first things first, of course, herzlichen Glückwunsch. Congratulations. We're super happy that you managed to get that victory after this very close game against France. And it very much looked like a different Team Germany on stage today than what we saw yesterday. What changes did you guys make in order to perform the way you did today?
We talked about yesterday about the Netherlands game. We particularly had problems against anti-dive comms with like McCree, Brig, because we mainly focused on playing dive, so that was kind of our hard counter, so to say. But yeah, we just talked about it yesterday. We knew what we were going to do against it, and yeah, went much easier.
Alors du coup, ils se sont beaucoup remis en question par rapport à la journée d'hier. On s'est posé, mais comment on fait pour ne pas parfait? Comment on va faire pour finalement sortir la tête hors de l'eau? Et bien finalement, on s'est repositionné. On a vu que la dive, c'était un peu compliqué. Peut-être parfois on se faisait surprendre. Donc on a changé un petit peu. Et puis ça a tout simplement fonctionné. Et du coup, on peut dire, et honnêtement, que face à l'équipe de France, c'était quand même une très belle performance de leur part. Donc encore une fois, GG, congratulations.
Now, I want to have a quick chat about those map picks. You picked Volskaya 3 times. You won it against the UK, you won it against Team France, and you ended up winning it against Poland. What is it about this map which works so well for Team Germany?
I don't know, I think we just had a lot of practice on it, and it's just we know what we want to play in every situation in it. We feel comfortable in it, especially with snipers. So yeah, mostly preparation is the most, and we just had trouble against anti-dive comms. Now that we know what to do, it's much easier.
Et là, pour le coup, Soé posait la question, mais qu'est-ce qui fait que sur Volskaya Industries, vous êtes si fort et pourquoi les pique tout le temps? Bien tout simplement, l'équipe allemande a beaucoup travaillé dessus et aujourd'hui, elle sait ce qu'elle a à faire, elle sait comment contrer ce qui se passe en face et ça a fonctionné encore une fois aujourd'hui. Là, on est sur 2 victoires pour une seule défaite pour l'équipe allemande. Donc voilà, il n'y a pas de secret, ça marche. Pourquoi? Comment? C'est du travail.
Well, thank you so much, Adibou, pour la traduction.
Merci,
and thank you, Cranks, of course, for joining us down here on the floor. It was great to see you guys winning that game on this very stage. And we're now heading over to our casters to break down all the action.
Thank you very much, Zoe. And of course to Cranks for giving us that interview afterwards, giving us a little bit of player insight into what's going on his mind. But Des, A lot to break down there. 5 games of action. Let's focus on the latter half of the tournament, as we already had a little bit of a halftime breakdown. Volskaya Industries, then of course we took it over to Dorado, unexpected. And of course we finished it all off on Oasis. Which one of those maps you think was the, should we say, biggest or most impactful in the series?
I think Dorado was probably the most interesting because you saw Poland pull some things out that maybe we didn't expect. Coming out with the Roadhog in this kind of tank-based comp just to threaten the high ground is a very, very smart strat. And actually, after we saw them yesterday, Eagle Gaming from EU, this is something we see them do a lot, is where they will mix up 1 or 2 picks just to kind of augment these tank-based comps. You know that tanks are where you're strongest. Just add a few things in there to mix things up if you want to. Change it over to be a 3-2-1 comp. Or in things with like the Roadhog, you can drag members down from the high ground. As we saw on Progi at the very start, once he was out the mix, well, they lost a lot of their dive potential, their shields were gone, and that led to that whole 2-point push coming out of them. Very interesting strat, and, well, it paid off hugely.
And we heard a lot from Cranks. Let's see if the numbers tell the same stories. Have a look at his stats on Genji. 13,000 hero damage done, a couple of ultimate kills in the mix, 14 final blows, and 38 eliminations. The guy was popping off on the Genji.
And coming in on 17 deaths as well, not really the strongest point coming out of him, but we'll go with it. And it was pretty good, 13,000 damage. Pretty much what you want.
You've got to respect the effort from him. We're giving him a little bit of a salute here. So, Genji, good hero, seeing a lot of it. It's better than seeing goats all the time. Spice it up a little bit. Fantastic variety coming out, and that was really a fantastic series.
Overall, I mean, Germany, Sombra, Genji, name a better trio. You can wait for that one because it seems to be their go-to comp on seemingly every single map. You can't blame them though. It's won them the series. It may not have won them the last 3 they've played, but they're happy at least to have one on the board.
Well, let's hear what you guys thought of that series so far. We're going to take a look at the T-Mobile Fan Pulse.
I love these.
I know, it's really interesting to see what you get. Nice push from Poland on Numbani, but that self-destruct from Mete was the bomb.
Quite literally as well, but the push from Poland that he's on about, I think it's all about that threat with the constant hacks coming out of Matwo. Shout out to that guy. To be fair, their strats were pretty much on point with dealing with Germany's high ground defense time and time again.
See what else we got on the Fan Pulse. Usually give us a couple of tweets for this one. I woke up early to watch these crazy great teams. Totally worth the eye bags and relative free cups of coffees. Lol, love you guys. And we love you for putting the effort and coming in to tune in. If you want to be on the T-Mobile Fan Pulse, you've just got to tweet out using the hashtag OWWC2018 and you can be featured on the stream. We've still got plenty more games to come though, Des, so there's plenty of opportunities to hear your voice on this stream.
When we think about it, we've only just crossed the halfway mark. This was game 3 of day 2. We've still got another 5 games to come tomorrow, 2 more today. Pretty much there.
We are way behind schedule.
Things happen, but when there's a bunch of 5-game series, ones that you would not go without, you really can't fault it, can you? Let's be honest, because they've been an absolute cracker of a series so far. Both this one, the first one, even the second one wasn't too bad, with Italy showing that they still got some metal inside them as well.
And if we want to have a look at that match so far, let's have a look through some of the replays and why it was such a great series. And we're going all the way back to map number 1 on the pile.
This may as well have been a game from yesterday. It felt like that long ago, but the triple DPS strat coming out of Germany on that first point, as we said, it was one of those things that we saw coming out of British Hurricane in EU Contenders Season 2. They made it work incredibly well for the most part, and for Germany, it was a bit shaky at point, but once they found their groove and got the aggression going, everything started to go their way, and this map, to be honest, very decisive.
Big bombs from Method. Here was this amazing display of calm, tranquility, patience to hold off on that Deadeye. Rather than pulling early and getting them killed, and Nesh just running riot with this soldier in a tactical visor.
I'm the kind of guy that if you panic during a play like that, I'll tend to turn away like 90 degrees and try and be like, no, don't look at the damage and it won't happen. But composure from Dani just the work.
You just 180 and just shoot the wall instead.
Exactly, man. You know it. The writing's on the wall, shoot that instead. And this again was the map Numbani, where we saw Poland twice on their attack round, pretty much clear it out in the first 60 seconds while employing a very, very nice Sombra play, getting behind them and hacking out the key members behind and making sure they went down. That was one of them there. You can see Xiano got the kill, but the support came in from the Sombra.
Xiano taking the enemy supports for a ride as Nesh. And a few pop shots, going to have to SMG finish it off with the rifle, but making sure that Mr. Darnier takes a much-needed nap and then flies up into the air to get multiple shots and just won't allow the stealth to come through. Nesh was one of the standout players of this team, especially on that Widowmaker Volskaya.
Definitely, and we came into this same run to see Darnier versus Nesh, and the only criticism I've ever really had of Darnier has been, one, consistency, and, well, consistency is really the main one. So a couple of times timing's a bit off as well, but in this case, Nesh was there and constantly just switched on and ready to go. You even saw after a short time that Poland were like, you know what, we can't compete with this Widow, let's change off and play something else instead. And I think you see in these clips, I think at least half of them have been these huge self-destruct plays coming out of Mete, as was mentioned in the fan pulse.
Well, Mete was certainly playing Meta because he was on Diva the entire time.
What can I say? If it works, it gives you results. Don't complain
That's
too much.
why it's the meta, Des.
That's why it's the meta, absolutely. And of course, we ended things out, as you saw not too long ago on Oasis. The timeline was complete, and it was Germany who walked away with a 2-1 scoreline.
That's an unfortunate brick one there, just to finish off the highlight package. So that was the highlights from Germany versus Poland. If you didn't catch it, I highly suggest going back and watching it, as with the previous Germany series as well against France. Up next, we have Italy going up against France, and we get to see another matchup. We're going to go do a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you all the action.